This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
The Marcus Marauders are on Champion Sports Radio. This broadcast of the Louisville Independent School District is sponsored by Whirly Ball, with 2 locations to serve you in Plano and Hurst. Leagues are forming right now, so visit them online at whirlyball.info. In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. Call 972-851-7888 or online at incommandbroadcasting.com. By Point of Origin Design, a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. Online at pointoforigindesign.com. ShockboxDFW.com. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. The Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra and the new GDYO Jazz Institute. Enjoy a cultural experience with your family without breaking the bank. Visit gdyo.org for more info. By Lone Star Gridiron. Did you play Texas high school football? If you did, you are part of an elite group, and Lone Star Gridiron wants to honor you. Visit lonestargridiron.com/brotherhood for more information. Marcus Marauders Football is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio. On Twitter at Champion Sports, Facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and online at ChampionSportsRadio.com. Well, is defeat ever a good thing? You could argue both sides of that question, but there's little doubt that the Marauders learned about themselves and gained confidence from their performance against defending state champion Allen a week ago. At a critical point in the fourth quarter, Marcus was just one play, maybe one turnover away from putting an end to the 47-game winning streak of the Eagles. Now, it's human nature to sag emotionally after a big game and a disappointing defeat, so perhaps it's best that next up on the schedule are the Flower Mound Jaguars. Flower Mound has replaced Louisville as Marcus's most bitter rival, and they play tonight in the Mound Showdown. The Marauders will have to bring their best talent and concentration in order to get back on the winning track in District 6-6A. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Marauders Stadium in Flower Mound. I'm Cecil Taylor, play-by-play voice for Marcus this 2015 season, and joining me in the broadcast booth is color commentator Ryan Medlin. And Ryan, it's maybe a cliche to say you throw out the records in a situation like this, a big rivalry. Marcus 4-1, Flower Mound 1-4, but Flower Mound has been giving teams fits all year despite that 1-4 record.
Yeah, and before we got here, I was kind of going down in the stands and kind of talking to some fans, trying to get a feel for this, the Mound Showdown. You hear about it so much going into the high school football season, and you hear how historic it is. And we talked about the Louisville rivalry, where that one is a little bit more historic. This one's a little bit more heated in the sense that both teams really want to take this win away from each other. And so when I was talking to the fans, most of them said, you got to put the records aside. Flower Mound, the Jaguars, they don't care about their record at this point. All they want to do is they want to beat Marcus. And I also learned that the younger Marcus teams actually fell to all the Flower Mound teams earlier in the week. So this is a chance for the Marauders to get the only win that the Marcus could have this season against Flower Mound. And I tell you what, the Jaguars are going to do everything they can to try and take that away from them.
Well, certainly, Coach Dane Johnson, in his third season at Flower Mound, is starting to build that program. Last year, all the lower-level teams had winning records, and they're on track to do that again. So Marcus needs to strike while they can against a growing program like this. Now, I could have sworn 2 weeks ago that Marcus fans could not show up earlier than they did for homecoming. But I got here 15 minutes earlier this week, and the parking lot was even more full than it was for homecoming.
It was like being in a college town almost. You had people tailgating outside the stadium. It was great. The environment here, unbelievable. We pretty much already have a full house. There's a couple filing in right now on the Flower Mound Jaguar side. But the Marcus Marauders have come in force, and I bet we have a sellout game here tonight as the Mound Showdown. is set to take place, and both teams really wanting to get a W in the win column on this one.
Well, you're listening to the Whirly Ball pregame show on Champion Sports Radio, and coming up next, I mentioned Coach Dane Johnson of Flower Mound. We'll be talking with him about his team and the prospects for tonight's game when Marcus Marauders football continues in a moment.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be 3 things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute, online at gdyo.org/jazz.
Many heart conditions can be fixed, but many of us don't know we have a problem until it's too late. On April 2, 2009, Zachary Schraw, a 16-year-old sophomore offensive lineman, died of sudden cardiac arrest, the #1 cause of death among student athletes. Like so many SCA victims, Zach had no heart issues, nor did anyone in his family. If Zach had an echocardiogram, he might have been able to avoid suffering a condition that takes 10,000 of our youth each year. In his memory, Living for Zachary was formed to try and prevent SCA from taking the lives of youth everywhere. Join in the fight today and stop the silent killer of SCA by scheduling your young athlete for an echocardiogram, a procedure that can detect any heart issue with 99% accuracy. For more information, visit www.livingforzachary.org. That's living4zachary.org, and let your heart be heard.
Coach's Show with Coach Dane Johnson. Coach, you had a legendary career at South Lake Carroll as an athlete and played under a great coach there in Bob Ledbetter. What kinds of principles did you bring from South Lake Carroll and that experience when you started at Flower Mound?
Yeah, I brought a lot. I learned a lot playing there, and then just observing them when I was done playing and go back and watch, and just talking with Ledbetter and Line Weaver and Coach Cook and Coach Rapp and Coach Barry and I think Coach Drake, who's still coaching there. And just picking up anything you can, you know, as a coach that you do, you talk to other people that are successful and you try to learn from them. And so I did the same thing with those guys and took a lot. The biggest thing I took from them, though, was what to build your program on. Coach Ledbetter was big of, no, don't ever focus about the wins. You don't build your program on winning. You build your program on character. And says when you get kids that have the right character, you're going to win. And so that's what we've been trying to do here at Flower Mound, is just start from the inside out. And when we get to the inside out, we're going to build a solid foundation, and we're going to have a program that will last. It won't just be based on how good your best player is. It will be based on the program itself and how all your players together become a good team.
Well, it seems like that's starting to take root because even though the Jaguars' record is 1-4, the largest margin of defeat has been 12 points. Your team has hung in there pretty well. What did they do in that McKinney-Boyd victory? And that was a 1-point victory. What did they do differently that time to win that game?
Well, they played great, but what we did in our 4 losses, we've lost the turnover battle, and boy, we didn't turn the ball over. So when we lost to Keller, we turned it over 4 times. I gave up 21 points. We lost by 10. We gave up the ball 4 times to East, and that turned into, I think, same thing, 21 points, and we lost by 12. We turned the ball over against Plano 3 times, and that turned into 12 points. They got off those turnovers, and we lost by 5. And so, boy, we didn't turn the ball over, and we won. And so that would be the biggest thing, because a turnover is an extra possession. And the district that we're in, the teams that we play, they're talented, and they're very good. And so if you give anybody an extra shot plus momentum with turnover, it's hard to stop. And so when we can minimize our mistakes like that, we can put ourselves in a chance to win. Even those other games, we still had chances to win those and come back, but we dug ourselves a too deep a hole to make it happen.
Conversation with Flower Mound coach Dane Johnson. And, Coach, on offense, you're really driven by your quarterback, who's also your rusher, Noble Newton. Tell us about him.
Well, he's just a great kid. He's just the heart and soul of the team. I mean, he's just a competitor. He wants to win. He's got a will to win. He's going to make plays. He's bailed us out several times where we might have called a play and it didn't work, and he used his feet to scramble and get open. And we run him, too, at the same time, just to keep a defense honest. But he's got a great arm, and he can see, and he makes great decisions, and he's doing a great job right now. I think he's maybe 4th or 5th in the area in total all-purpose yards, and he's in the top 5 in passing. And I expect him to keep doing that. He's just a hard-working kid that loves to play the game.
What kind of worries do you have as you look at Marcus this week and them coming off that close loss to Allen?
Well, the worries are easy. They're a very good team. Up front, they're probably one of the best defensive fronts in our district. Their defensive line is excellent. And they got Caden Smith, and they got 2 good running backs. No they don't stop Caden Smith. Everybody's double teaming him, everybody's triple teaming him, and they throw it to him and he still catches it. And so that's a concern. And their offensive line and running backs do a good job. They're a very good team, and they're well coached. And so, those are the big factors. Are we going to be able to hold up and give Noble time to throw the ball? We're going to be able to create a couple holes here and there to pop a running back through, and then how are we going to slow down their offense? Because they can do both very well, pass and run.
Like Coach Stanford, you're new to this rivalry between Marcus and Flower Mound High, but what do you see of it? What's your sense among the students of the meaning of this game?
Well, they love it. It's fun. That's what I tell our kids. I say, guys, you should enjoy this. There's not many rivalries in the state of Texas like this. Maybe 4 or 5 that are this big every year, no matter what. And it's fun. And that's part of the high school experience, especially these kids. This is a lot of fun. And so I've enjoyed it, and I try to get our kids to enjoy it. And I said, let's play it up. Let's have a great rivalry. There's nobody we want to beat more, but let's not let it overcome us. We can't put all our eggs in this basket. We can't get so emotional we can't play the game. But we need to enjoy it because it's an experience unlike any other. And these kids, want to win it as much as any other game.
This has been the Flower Mound Coaches Show with Coach Dane Johnson. Coming up next on the Whirly Ball pregame show, we'll be talking with Marcus coach Jerry Stanford.
Hey, everybody, this is Chris Daly from LoneStarGridiron.com, the authority on Texas high school football. Quick question, did you play Texas high school football? If you did, it doesn't matter what school, it doesn't matter what year, we want to honor you at Lone Star Gridiron. Go over to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood and sign up. It's absolutely free, and we can honor you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
Are you looking for a way to promote your business or increase exposure? Do you just need more people to know that you're there? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games to more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. Think about it. Die-hard fans just like you tune in each and every week, giving your business unparalleled access to the community. It's the perfect way for smaller individually owned businesses to cultivate a core clientele or expand their already loyal customer base. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
The Whirly Ball pregame show continues now with the Marcus Coaches Show and Coach Jerry Stanford. Coach, what do you feel like you learned about your team from the Allen game last week?
You know, as you go into any game, you want to be able to assess where you are coming out. And that was a big deal with our staff last week is what were we going to learn from the Allen game moving on to the next game. And so I think from our kids' standpoint, we learned that confidence can get you a long ways. We went in as a confident team and came out as a confident team. And learn that if we can execute the way we want to and meet the expectation which we created, that we've got a great opportunity to win the game. And that proved to be the case against Allen. We had some opportunities there to win the game and just weren't able to take a hold of a couple of things. But overall, I think the effort was there, particularly in the intensity level, and then we just got to go back and clean up some of the execution.
And then kind of a mid-season assessment. We're halfway through the regular season. What do you think has progressed on your team throughout the year, and what needs some more work yet?
I think it's always you're continually trying to improve on the things that you see that come up in film, you know. But I think overall our offensive line just each week has gotten better. I think Mitch Kaysen has become more comfortable as a quarterback. Each week we've had some different receivers step up and make us a little more explosive as an offense. And then defensively, I think it's the same thing you see each and every week. I think we have different guys stepping into different roles and continue to make plays on that side of the ball, which is why we've got the number one defense in the district right now. I think you just got a collaboration of guys really playing great team defense. Last week it was Sam Morris. He just played an outstanding game all game long. And then we had 3 turnovers created by our secondary last week, and one of those being Julian Gambito, our linebacker, having an interception in the game. And so we just played great team defense. You just got to continue to do that, continue to tackle well in the open field, and put offenses behind the chains.
Conversation with Marcus Coach Jerry Stanford. And, Coach, you mentioned Sam Morris. He was one of our co-players of the game on the broadcast last week. I noticed he had 7 tackles for losses. He's really effective when he's blitzing, right?
Yeah, he really just did a good job reading out what he was reading, and those weren't designated called blitzes by any means. It was more how we set up our defense last week on what he was seeing, and he had the opportunity to make plays. I felt like Sam just was the best player on the field most of the night last week.
The other co-player of the game was Alex Albright, who the week before had a good receiving night, but last week against Allen really took it to another level with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, we put Alex in the position to be the next guy to really step up for us. And what they were doing from their standpoint really dictated what we wanted to do to get Alex the ball, and Alex took advantage of that, and as well as Mitch. And we were able to create some space for Alex in the run game and the passing game to get some things accomplished. And he just did a great job, and Coach Martinez and the offensive staff did a great job setting everything up.
So this week it's Flower Mound, and I know it's only your second time to go up against Flower Mound, but what's your understanding of this rivalry and what it means to the 2 schools?
Yeah, it's great. It's more of a heated rivalry than the Louisville game is. Louisville's a very historic rivalry it's more of a neighborhood rivalry with Flower Mound just because of where the kids live, and they're comparable to each other and how they know each other. And so the series is really close. I think Marcus is up 8-7 right now. That's only because we won last year. It's been back and forth year in and year out. And so it's going to be a great contested game. The game's already sold out, so we're excited about to get out there and play one more time.
Flower Mound doesn't have a great record, but they are showing to be a dangerous team this year. They gave Plano a great game last week. They have a very explosive offense with Noble Newton running the show.
Yeah, they do. They really put the ball in the air. Receivers do a great job catching the ball in traffic. Little quarterback, he runs around really well, extends plays. When plays aren't there to be made, he makes a play and finds a way to keep getting first downs, and that's the name of the game. And they've done a great job of getting first downs all year long and keeping people off balance.
Last week you had a hard time with the scrambling quarterback. Did you learn something from that game that hopefully will help this week against Newton?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, anytime the quarterback can extend plays and make plays at the feet, it puts a little more stress on your defense to make different situations calls, and it's going to be the same this week. We've got to make some different situational calls to put ourselves in a position to be successful.
On defense, they have a sensational young linebacker who was recently the Player of the Week in the Dallas Morning News, Connor Lee, and talk about him and what you see from him on film.
Yeah, I mean, he's really stepped up in our district as a sophomore. It's hard enough in this district to just be a junior on this team for anybody, just because of the depth and talent level. But he's really just done a great job stepping in as a sophomore and giving a hand to a defense and playing linebacker in a stressful situation right there. He's got great bloodlines, and his brother was a great player at Flower Mound. So, yeah, he's done a great job for their defense and making them a real solid defense throughout district play so far.
This has been the Marcus Coaches Show with Coach Jerry Stanford, and coming up next, we'll look at the keys to the game as the Whirly Ball pregame show continues.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting. It's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888. Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
You know, I guess the big poster here at Marauder Stadium on the home side says it all. Mound Showdown. We are Marcus, and we're repping this town. It's a battle for Flower Mound between the Marauders and the Jaguars. Cecil Taylor along with Ryan Medlin here. The Mound Showdown at Marauders Stadium this evening. Let's talk about the keys to the game, Ryan, and I think one of them that we can't overlook is the fact that despite the talent and heart of Noble Newton, he has turned the ball over some, thrown some interceptions, and that's something that the Marauders have been doing better lately, is taking advantage of errant passes.
Yeah, we saw the Marauders last week against the number 1 ranked Allen Eagles, and they forced Seth Green, the Oregon commit, to 3 interceptions in that game, something that's really unheard of due to Preston Morris being on the attack and being such a force to be reckoned with on the D-line. We will see Fitzgerald tonight. We saw him warming up on the sidelines. Expect to see him back in the lineup tonight. So now you have a dual threat there for this Marauder defense, and believe it, they're going to put a lot of pressure on Noble Newton and try and force as many turnovers as possible.
Between Fitzgerald and Morris, they have 7 sacks between them this season. I think another thing that we have to watch out for is a potential letdown by Marcus. It's hard to imagine that would happen. Their concentration was at a real high last week, and they may have found some formula there, but certainly it's the kind of game where you could look at the record and then slip up a bit.
Yeah, you definitely can, and I think Marcus, this is one that has a star next to it on the schedule, right? This isn't just about getting a win. This is about pride, right? A lot of these guys, they're buddies with each other, and they want nothing more than to be able to take this win and be able to talk a little smack to their buddies and then their friends who go to Flower Mound and Marcus respectively. So there's a lot more than just a W on the line here. Who's going to take the Mound Showdown for another year?
And here come the Marauders. I think I heard them ripping through that sign. The Marauders come out and they look fired up, and the Jaguars already on the field. They are dressed in their white jerseys, white pants with navy numerals and helmets. Marcus in their new red jerseys with black and white piping. They have the white helmets with the red trim, red and black trim, and white pants with the red and black trim also. So very colorful, red, white, and blue here basically at the Mound Showdown. And we're just about ready to go for the coin toss as the two teams captains are coming out for that. Any final thoughts about things we need to be looking for tonight in this game?
I think, we've seen Marcus kind of get off to a quick start most of the season. We saw last week in Allen where Allen came down real quick and was able to get a touchdown right off the bat. But we saw Marcus respond really well. I think they're going to need to get a good jump on the Jaguars early here. That way they can kind of show them who's boss and make sure that it's established that they're not going to take this game lightly. And this is one of those, you'd like to take it lightly seeing their 1-4 record of the Jaguars, but you absolutely can't, because that's where they're going to hurt you most. Mind you, they only lost to Plano last week 36-31 in a very close game, and they've had a lot of close games this season. And their record doesn't really reflect the team that's on the football field as far as heart and passion and hard work.
And both of these are senior-laden teams. Marcus, by the way, even after giving up 2 touchdowns to Allen in the first quarter last week, has a 62-21 edge in first quarters this year. Now, the Jaguars have won the toss, and they have elected to receive from the south end, and Marcus will take the north end zone with the wind at their back. So we're almost ready to go here at Marauders Stadium. We're going to take one last quick break on the Whirly Ball pregame show, and Marcus Marauders football continues on Champion Sports Radio right after this.
Be fixed, but many of us don't know we have a problem until it's too late. On April 2nd, 2009, Zachary Schraw, a 16-year-old sophomore offensive lineman, died of sudden cardiac arrest, the #1 cause of death among student athletes. Like so many SCA victims, Zach had no heart issues, nor did anyone in his family. If Zach had an echocardiogram, he might have been able to avoid suffering a condition that takes 10,000 of our youth each year. In his memory, Living for Zachary was formed to try and prevent SCA from taking the lives of youth everywhere. Join in the fight today and stop the silent killer of SCA by scheduling your young athlete for an echocardiogram, a procedure that can detect any heart issue with 99% accuracy. For more information, visit www.livingforzachary.org. That's living4zachary.org, and let your heart be heard.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
It's a full house at Marauders Stadium, especially on the Marcus side, as the Marcus High School band wraps up playing our national anthem. Drill teams both on the field, about to exit now and getting ready for this. Tonight, there is a full scale of games going on in District 6, 6A. Not only this game, but Allen is at Louisville. Plano East visits McKinney-Boyd, and Plano hosts Plano West. Hebron is off this week.
I'm really interested to see, on that note, how Plano and Plano West shakes out tonight, as those two are bitter rivals and both kind of not necessarily struggling this season, but not having the seasons they would like. I'm really interested to see who comes out on top on that one.
Right now, Plano East and Allen sit atop the district standings. Marcus right behind with one district loss and 2 wins after 3 weeks of district action. So John Mayers, the sophomore, playing in his first Mound showdown, tees it up and gets set to kick off. Back deep to receive is Desmond Joy and Hayden Hauser for the Flower Mound Jaguars. And here's the kickoff with the wind at his back. This one will come down to Joy at the 5-yard line. And he runs into a crowd, swings wide at the 20-yard line, gets hauled down just short of the 20 by Cameron Hupfer, who grabbed the back of his jersey and slung him down. They're going to mark it at the 18-yard line.
And already a great start there by Cameron Hupfer of the Marcus Marauders. He had a great game last week against Allen, made some key plays, and right there we see him getting after it. Looked like he was about to blow by him there, but Hupfer got his jersey a little bit, was able to bring him to the ground and avoid the extra yards. And now we're going to get our first taste of the Marauder defense of the night.
Flower Mound comes out led by Noble Newton, the senior quarterback in the backfield with him. He'll have Ifani Uzowihe and H-back Chase Lemke. Wide receivers Brenda Alvis, Dylan Gorlich, and Jack Sikora. We'll set the line here in a moment. And the defense. Newton is alone in the backfield with Lemke as an H-back moving across. 4-man front for Marcus. Newton fakes it short, throws it deep, has a man going for it, and it's swatted away by Elijah Jopp. He was going deep down the right side, but they're going to call Jopp for a penalty now for pass interference.
Yeah, and Jopp just got a little too handsy with him there on the jersey when he tried to come down with that catch. Jopp able to smack the ball down, but not before grabbing that jersey, and you're going to get flagged for that, unfortunately, most of the time. We're going to get the call right here.
So a 15-yard walk-off. Let's look at the Flower Mound offensive line. Balin Smith is the senior center at the guards. Ty Neighbors and Blake Watson. The tackles are Carter Severinson and Duke Carrillo. On defense up front for Marcus, Hawkins Taylor, B.J. Copeland, the tackles. Andrew Fitzgerald back in this week after missing a week due to injury, along with Jonathan Baudet at the defensive ends. Backers are Julian Gambino and Sam Morris. It's a 1st and 10 at the Flower Mound 33-yard line. The give will go to will go to the back, who's swallowed up by Fitzgerald, and Uzawie had nowhere to go, and it's a loss of about 3 or 4 yards. Also in the defensive backfield, Matt Hankins, Cameron Hupfer at the corners, the safeties Zach Goff, Dylan Holcomb, the leading tackler on the team, and Elijah Jobs. So that's a huge loss of 4 yards.
Yeah, Fitzgerald, you could tell he's well rested out there after missing the game last week against Allen. You know, he probably could have gone last week, but, you know, they figured out it wasn't worth it, and they were going to save him for tonight. And right off the bat, you can see that definitely was a good decision.
2nd down 14, opening drive of the ball game. Man in motion goes to the left. Back to throw is Newton. He's under pressure, and the defensive ends have met at the quarterback. Actually, that was Fitzgerald meeting one of the linebackers coming in, and that was Sam Morris.
Sam Morris, once again, shining early for the Marauder defense. Had a huge night last week against Allen, and I think we're in for another treat tonight as Morris already getting things going as the Marauder fans are on their feet for this big 3rd down, 22 yards to go.
Consecutive losses of 4 and 8 yards after that 15-yard pass interference penalty. 3 wideouts to the left with the H-back inside of them. So Newton's going to look that direction now, run it, and he finds a crease up the middle, but he's well short of the first down as Jop and Gambino and Taylor take him down at about the 31-yard line. It's a pickup of 10, but punt time for the Jaguars.
And notch that for 19 tackles for Gambino on the season. Had a really strong game last week. Didn't get as much credit as we probably should have given him, but we looked at the stat line for him. Unbelievable game by Gambino. And right there, he avoids Noble Newton getting the yards he needed to get the first down.
Punter is Josh Grant, standing back inside of his own 20. A token rush this time. He gets the kick away. And it's taken, I believe that's Nelson taking it at the 36-yard line. Rather, check that. That's Albright across midfield, down the boundary at the 40. He's going to cut back inside the 30, and I think I'm going to have to check again on who that was. Was that Kovacevic running it back?
I think so.
No, it was Albright. It was Alex Albright, who had such a great week, scoring his first 3 touchdowns of the season against Allen a week ago.
And I'll tell you what, Sam Morris had a huge block on there, allowing Albright to get a little extra yardage. It was a huge block by Morris. Way to be aware on his end and allow his team to get some extra yards and amazing field position to start off their offensive drive.
Down to the 26-yard line, and it is great field position now for the Marcus Marauders. We'll set their lineup in just a moment, but on first down, Kaysen is going to look to throw into the end zone, looking for C.J. Respis, but the ball was way wide, and it falls incomplete. So again, the backfield, Mitch Kaysen is the quarterback, a senior. He's joined in the backfield by Nate Hopkins, who crossed 2,000 career rushing yards last week, and C.J. Respis back after a couple of games off due to injury. Caden Smith is the tight end. We'll also see a wide receiver, Alex Albright, Jake Nelson, and Andrew Parrish.
C.J. Respis and Hopkins both in the backfield behind Mitch Kaysen.
On 2nd and 10, and then the give goes to Respis. He shakes one man and carries 3 men with him down inside the 20-yard line to about the 17, just shy of the first down. That's a pickup of 9.
And great trickery there by having Hopkins and Respis in the backfield. Both guys have kind of really put the team on their back this season, and you kind of don't know who they're going to go to. So when you put them both in the backfield, you're just confusing the defense even more.
3rd down short. Hopkins has toted a lot the last couple of games, and he totes it here, and they are ready for him around the right end. He was taken down by Zach Welch and Frankie. I'm sorry, I got his name wrong. Freddie. I had it right in the first place. Freddie Jackson. Freddie Jackson, a loss of 2 back to the 20-yard line.
Tried to get Respis to block there for Hopkins. Respis went down a little too early and missed the block there at the feet. Unfortunate, but Hopkins able to power through and get the extra yardage, which he normally does when he gets first contact.
Marauders going for it on 4th down from the right hash mark. A 4th down 4 at the Flower Mound 20-yard line. Kaysen back to throw, gets the blitz, throws it, it's complete to Caden Smith, who catches it on one knee inside the 10 at about the 9-yard line for a first down.
Tell you what, real quick, we didn't get to talk about it in the pregame. Caden Smith coming up with a lot of honors this week going into this game. He's just named to the 2016 Under Armour High School Football All-American game.
And the give goes, well, it's a fake, and Kaysen keeps it down to the 5-yard line. He hardly ever carries on a design run, and he surprises the defense, gains 4 yards.
Surprised us a little bit there, too, as it looked like Respis had the ball until we kind of realized Kaysen was where all the action was at.
Quick snaps here by the Marauders, trying to keep the Jaguars on their heels. At the 5-yard line of Flower Mound, Respis follows Hopkins. Nice block, and he fights his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Excellent touchdown there as he was able to. We've talked about it all season. The offensive line of the Marauders, they're big and strong. They're averaging just about 280 pounds on that offensive line, and they're able to clear holes really well to give the running backs a huge hole and able to get the touchdown. And that's why we've seen such successful backs this season for the Marauders, as that offensive line is just so strong and powerful. And you know what? They had a good test last week against Allen, but they also played really well in that game as well.
Mayer's on to try the extra point out of the hold of Albright. He'll place it just back behind the 10-yard line at about the 12. And the kick is up, and boy, almost blocked, but it goes through in our new score with exactly 8 minutes to go first quarter. Marcus 7, Flower Mound nothing. Marcus Marauders football continues in a moment.
You'll see projections for the next quarter are.
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
So ready for the kickoff as the Marauders have, after that long punt return by Alex Albright, gone 26 yards in 6 plays, and Respis the final 5 for the touchdown. This kick goes into the end zone, taken by Joy there. He's going to come out and is swallowed up by Marauders and still fights for about another 5 yards or so. Check that. That was Devin Coleman in there at the same position that Joy took it the first time. So he'll return it out to about the 21-yard line, but really that drive set up by the long punt return.
Yeah, it was, and Aaron Kovacevic bringing him down on that one. He just wouldn't go down. He fought pretty hard on that one until finally Kovacevic was able to bring him down, and that'll put the ball right at the 22 for the Jaguars, coming out for their second set of downs.
Noble Newton is the lone man in the backfield for the Jaguars. 2 receivers each side. He's going to run to the right side, looking to throw it. Throws the out pattern too tall for the intended receiver, and that was Dylan Gorlich. He was open, but it was too high for him.
Gorlich, 14 receptions on the season for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. That ball was just a bit too far ahead of him as Newton rolled out to his right and had to make a throw while under intense pressure from the Marauder defense.
So now an I backfield, or actually a single setback. It's more of a pistol look this time. Newton fakes to the back, and he's in trouble, but somehow gets away from 1, 2, 3 men and scrambles, and still gets away from 2 more across the 26 to about the 27-yard line. Wow, how did Newton do that? He just kept slipping away like he was covered in Vaseline or something.
Well, the Marauders brought a blitz on there, and it looked like he had gotten swallowed up, but all of a sudden you see him running out to his right, free and clear up until Hawkins Taylor was finally able to bring him down for the Marauders.
3rd down 6 from their own 26. Crowd again rising in front of us. Man in motion, going to the side, and they're going to throw it to that man. It's complete. And this is Brandon Alvis, and he is stopped short of the first down on a nice play that time by, looked like Hupfer knocking him out of bounds with help from Gambino. It'll be shy of the first down, and this should force a punt by Flower Mound, you would think.
You'd think so, and yeah, it looks like the punt team is going to come out. They were looking to the sideline for a bit, saying maybe we go for it, but you can't give the Marauders that good a field position if things don't work out, especially this early on in a game.
No, it's already 7-0. So second punt of the night coming from Josh Grant. 2 men back. This is a different formation here for the Marauders, and it worked well the first time with Rogers and Albright both back. Fair catch called by Albright. He catches that one over his head. Oh, my gosh. He caught that one up like he was Mike Napoli catching a fly ball, but he held on to it as opposed to Napoli.
I think Coach Stanford was a little shaky on that one as the ball was sailing over Albright's head, but luckily after calling that fair catch, he decided to go for it and didn't fumble it. It reminds me back a couple games ago. So we saw that kickoff where the ball went up pretty high in the air and it just sailed over. I can't remember who they were playing exactly. I want to say it was Heber. It sailed over his head and bounced off a kickoff, and Marcus picked up the ball like on the 15.
Yes.
It reminded me a little bit of that.
Luckily, Albright held on to it. So Hopkins is the lone setback as Marcus starts their possession in a lot worse field position, their own 28-yard line, leading 7-0, just under 7 minutes to go, first period of the Mound showdown. Hopkins will take it up the middle, gets to the second wave of defenders, and a pickup of about 4 or 5 yards to the 31 rather.
Good job by Troy Elliott, the left guard, 6'4", 297-pound senior, committed to Arkansas State, able to lead the charge there for Hopkins to get a nice hole up the middle and a couple yards gained.
On second down, they'll send Albright and Nelson wide to the left side. Caden Smith, lone man to the right side. Tristan Newsome joins the lineup in a wing to the right side inside of Caden Smith. Kaysen back to throw, looking Smith's way. He's going deep. He's going to outthrow him, I think, and Smith tried to get there. Good coverage that time, blocking him off by Ben Fierro, the cornerback on that side. They were both playing the ball. Smith simply couldn't get there.
Yeah, and that's that big pass you'll see Mitch Kaysen go to for Caden Smith. We're usually due for about one a game. We saw one last week against Allen that made the top 10 plays in the Sports Day High School top 10 play chart. It was number 4 there. Also a big catch. We're usually due for one, and that just wasn't it. So we probably see another one here sometime soon.
Well, it's 3rd down 7. Blitz look coming from the Jaguars. Here they come. Kaysen under pressure. Gets rid of the ball just in time, but it sails out of bounds to the left side looking for Caden Smith. Really got a lot of pressure up the middle that time. And I'm trying to see exactly if it was one of the Clutterbaugh coming in. So it'll force a 4th down and a punt.
Yeah, he got hit pretty hard on that one. He was a little slow to get up, and that's not what you want to see in your all-star quarterback who's been great for you all season. You got to protect him a little bit better than that as he was able to get the ball away just before getting clobbered.
John Mayers averages 35.5 yards a punt, and he's back inside his own 20-yard line. We have a stoppage of play for a moment with 6:09 to go. Not a very long possession that time for the Marauders. They have it spotted at the wrong yard line. Somebody picked up on that. It was spotted at the 28 instead of the 31-yard line.
And I'll tell you what, one of the things we've noticed so far early, a lot of guys for the Jaguars moving around from offense to defense, not afraid to do that. We've seen it before, so that keeps them well rested by being able to plug in guys anywhere. On their 2-deep chart, each player has a offensive position and a defense position listed next to their name.
Punt sails down to Desmond Joy, who shakes a tackler at the 35 down the boundary, across midfield to the 50, and the pursuit catches him as Mayer slowed him up, and he's run down at about the 40-yard line. Looked like Elijah Jop, one of those coming in and making the tackle. That could have gone for a touchdown. Big plays on the punt returns here early.
Yeah, luckily Jop could use his speed there and catch up to Joy and avoid giving up the dreaded giant punt return touchdown, especially in a game where momentum is such a crucial aspect. You know, it's really going to be a game of momentum, right? Who's going to have the momentum swing at the right time to lead their team to victory? And giving up something like that this early could really hurt you in the long run.
36 yards on that punt return by Desmond Joy, almost back to where they started this possession. So from the 39-yard line of Marcus, here come the Jaguars on 1st down. Hauser goes in motion. They're going to throw it to him. Newton completes it, and what a crunching tackle that time. Coming up from the secondary, looked like Jop making the tackle. Boy, he is a speedy and a sound tackler. I don't know what stats they have on this. They probably don't keep such stats, but I think he probably leads the team in touchdown-saving tackles.
Yeah, you know, he's a free safety that you just love because he always finds a way to get to where he needs to be. 21 tackles on the season so far, and like we said, it's just everywhere the ball goes, you can expect Jop to be not too far behind.
Only a 2-yard gain. Newton back to throw. Heavy pressure from Fitzgerald, who was getting held, but Baudet is on the other side to take him with help from Sam Morris way back near midfield. The highly recruited Fitzgerald, though, flushed him out to begin with.
Yeah, and Baudet gets his 2nd sack on the season, and like we said, it's going to be a huge night for the Marauder defense between Fitzgerald, Baudet, Morris. I mean, pick your poison, Cecil. Anybody who's out there right now is fully capable of doing what we just saw.
2nd time that they have sacked Newton tonight, and again, it forces a 3rd down long. This is 3rd and 20 at the Marauders' 49-yard line. Ball on the right hash, 5 wide receiver set. Newton all alone. It's going to be a 4-man rush. Fitzgerald twists up the middle, hits him as he throws, and the pass is complete, just shy of the 1st down. A nice catch by Gorlich as it looked like Jop was going to come up and make a play there, but he was unable to. It's going to bring about a 4th and short as they gain 19 of the 20 yards.
Yeah, and it's short because Dylan Holcomb was right there and was able to kind of give him a little clip as he came down with the ball and avoid letting them get the first down. You got 4th and 1 here, and it looks like the Jaguars are going to go for it.
Sure they are. This is a big play early on in the ball game. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Marcus leading 7-0. Flower Mound trying to do something about it. Let's see if Newton keeps it. He's the only setback, and he's going to run it to the right side. Cuts up first down. Swings outside. Jop and Holcomb ride him down, but not before he has a first down at the 25 of Marcus.
And that's a big move there for the Jaguars, going for it on 4th and 1. We've seen both teams go for it so far on 4th down, and the Jaguars, by getting that first down, they push themselves a little closer to the red zone, which we're really, besides Allen, Marcus hasn't had to deal with too much this season with the red zone. We saw Louisville, or Hebron, who like to score touchdowns outside of 20 yards, and Louisville not getting in there at all.
From the 25-yard line, goes to Lemke, and he's stacked up after about a yard. Gambino was part of the crew that stopped him. About 3 different men hit him. Give credit to B.J. Copeland as well. Only a pickup of 1.
Yeah, and the Marauder defense is going to have to dig deep on this one. You know, we've talked a lot about adversity this season, about certain aspects of the game where things may not have always gone your way, and how are you going to respond to it, right? Last week we saw Allen score on their first drive. How's Marcus going to respond? They responded pretty well, so I think this is one of those moments right here.
Protecting a touchdown lead, 2nd down 9. Flower Mound to throw. Hit as he throws, ball is too high for everybody. That time, he was having to duck under Baudet. The intended receiver was Sikora, guarded that time by Elijah Jop over the middle on the post pattern.
Saw Noble Newton kind of get a little flustered there about the pressure on him and got rid of that ball really quickly. One of the things we talked about in the pregame was watch for turnovers, and that was almost one right there as Newton got rid of that ball a little too quickly and didn't really look to where it was going.
For the first time in a while, we see Ifani Ozuihe in the backfield, but he's in a wing over to the left side on a 3rd down 9. Marcus rushing 4. Newton looking over the middle, has a man open, it's swatted away, incomplete. It's Dylan Holcomb who made a sensational play to knock it down, his first pass breakup of the season.
Yeah, Holcomb there, not even a chance for the receiver to get his hands on that one, as soon as he made contact, Holcomb slapped it right away and kind of gave him the look of no, not today.
Going for the field goal now, Josh Grant is going to try to kick a pretty long field goal here of 41 yards out of the hold of Matthew Fellis.
And the wind has shifted a little bit. We saw it going north to south here a little bit, but now it's shifted.
And the kick is going to be off to the left side, just yanked it. So with 2:49 to go in the quarter, wide left, and the ball goes over to Marcus after that. Let's take a break. You're listening to Champion Sports Radio.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888.
On 1st down, the Marauders from their own 24-yard line handed to C.J. Respis, who swings outside for about 5 yards, spotted at the 29. That last field goal, by the way, was blown about by the wind a little crosswind, causing it to go left of the uprights. On 2nd and 5, Respis again. Stutter steps, not much there. He runs into the defensive front, including the defensive end on the left side, Hayden Brewer, a 6'4", 260-pound senior.
Yeah,
just about a yard.
Had some help from Darrell Rutherford there as well, a 5'9", 240-pound junior. And one of his strengths, Rutherford, is he likes to stay low at the point of impact, which really helps him bring down the smaller guys.
Rutherford, the leading tackler on that defensive front. So a 3rd down 3 from the 31-yard line. Respis, by the way, 4 carries, 20 yards now. And he's the lone back in the backfield next to Mitch Kaysen on this 3rd down play. 4 wide receivers set, 2 each side. Kaysen to throw. Good protection. Throws it outside. Clutch catch by Michael Davis. Goes up and catches it at the 44-yard line for a 1st down. Ridden down by Ben Fierro. And Connor Lee coming over to help out on that play as well.
Connor Lee, expect that name to be heard a lot tonight. He leads the team in tackles, and he was Defensive Player of the Week after the McKinney-Boyd game, which was their only district win on the season.
From the 44 on first down, Respis has a hole right side, crosses midfield, popped as he goes down at the 49-yard line of Flower Mound. Aaron Epping putting the final touches after a 7-yard run.
And we're starting to see Marcus kind of, get into that groove that they've become quite fond of, moving slowly down the field, not too concerned about a big play, but just getting the little yardage to keep the clock going and keep the ball moving as well.
After 3 runs by Respis on this drive, Nate Hopkins is back there, and he takes the handoff, goes off right guard, runs smack dab into Connor Lee, but still gains an extra yard or two. Down to the 44-yard line of Flower Mound. I was talking to Coach Stanford and talking about the dirty runs that Hopkins had last week. He ran very bravely. I thought, despite the fact he only had a 4-yard average, it was one of his best nights of the season. He'll swing out wide to the right this time and block from Michael Davis, who catches a little bubble screen pass with the blocking of Albright. Connor Lee making the tackle after a gain to the 39-yard line on that first down play.
And already we can see Connor Lee kind of really coming into his own right now. He's a little frustrated at the way this game has gone so far. So Connor Lee really becoming a presence there for the Jaguar defense.
7th play of the drive coming now. Handoff to Hopkins off left guard behind Elliott. He's into the clear. The 30, the 20. They're in pursuit at the 10. To the 5. He sails into the end zone after a tackle. It's a touchdown for Marcus, and they go up 13-0.
Right up the middle, Hopkins is able to find a hole there as he sets this crowd on fire with that ginormous run. About 30 yards, I think it was, right up the middle, able to get out cleanly before making a tad bit of contact right at about the 10-yard line, but his momentum was already taking him right into the end zone. We have ourselves a 2-score, 2-possession game.
39-yard touchdown run to cap a 76-yard drive by the Marcus Marauders after a missed field goal by Flower Mound. And just like that, the Marauders have come back to take a 13-0 lead with 16 seconds left in the first quarter. The kick up by Mayers, kicks it into the Marcus band area, and it's good. Marcus 14, Flower Mound nothing. Let's hold it right here with just 16 seconds to go in our... Well, we'll go ahead and take a break. Let's take a break right now. 14-0 Marcus. You're listening to Champion Sports Radio.
Stay up on all the latest news about the teams you care about and know when your favorite games are on the air thanks to Champion Sports Radio social media. Either follow @Champion Sports on Twitter or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and you will know what time your game starts, who was named Player of the Week, or what your school's alumni are doing in college. That's on Twitter @Champion Sports and facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship social media.
7 plays, 76 yards for the Marauders. Let's look at the stats real quick as we start to close out the first quarter here. Marcus has 6 first downs compared to 1 for Flower Mound. 105 total yards, 76 rushing, 29 passing. Flower Mound -4 rushing, 24 passing, most of it coming on one key third down play. So now Mayers will kick off. Devin Coleman and Hayden Hauser back to receive the kick. And this one's going to sail to Coleman again, right at the goal line, comes right up the hash mark, kind of tap dances around, can't find a way through the Marauders, and he's taken down at the 20-yard line. It was Zach Goff, the first of several, who made the hit.
And you know what? One of the things I've kind of noticed so far in this game, Cecil, as far as the offensive side of the ball goes for the Marauders, C.J. Resp is getting a lot of carries, right? He's kind of had 2 weeks off. We saw him a tad bit in Allen. But, he's coming off a little bit of an ankle sprain, I want to say, something along those lines. So we're seeing a lot of him tonight. He's already got 5 carries for 27 yards, while Hopkins has got 4 carries for 45 yards.
Ridge Rogers in for the first time tonight for the Marcus Marauders. Lemke is the big back behind Newton, and he takes the carry and goes nowhere. Hawkins Taylor, one of those in on the stop. And that'll close our first quarter out with our score. Marcus 14, Flower Mound nothing. You're listening to the Mound Showdown, Marcus Marauders football on Champion Sports Radio.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
Back at Marauders Stadium, Cecil Taylor, Ryan Medlin with you on Marcus Marauders football. It's 14-0 after one quarter between the Marcus Marauders and the Flower Mound Jaguars.
Yeah, we saw a first quarter exactly how we thought it would be, in the fact that Marcus kind of came out guns blazing, which we've seen them do most of the season with each of their competitor. They found that's a good groove for them to be in. One thing to keep in mind, though, we've seen, although they come out strong, we've seen them not necessarily fade in the second halves of games or in the latter ends of games, but maybe lose a little bit more energy. But now that we're this deep into the season, you got to expect their conditioning to be at its peak right now. And so look forward to that tonight to see if Marcus can keep up the tempo.
Second down 11 as we get underway in the second quarter. Quick pass, and that's completed to Jack Sikora to about the 24-yard line. Dylan Holcomb, Matt Hankins in on that tackle. Just a quick pass that time to gain a few yards, and it'll bring about a 3rd down and 6 from their own 24-yard line. Newton is all alone in the backfield with 5 wideouts. Looks like single coverage all the way across the board. Both Gambino and Morris show blitz this time as Flower Mound now goes and checks the side, checks the coaching staff for what they want to do. Newton resets the play. And Morris is coming. The pass goes out and it's complete, but not enough for the first down to Coleman that time. He was brought down by Elijah Chop, who had been playing off, but came up quickly. And Dylan Holcomb's the one who knocked him out of bounds, and it's well short of the first down at the 26, and will bring about a punt.
And good start for the Marauders this second quarter, getting a nice stop there. And hopefully, pending this punt, maybe get some good field position. You at least expect to be, as the returners are lined up about the 35, expect to at least be to maybe the 45 or 50.
Kick looks like it's going to go to Albright, who had a big punt return in the first quarter, catches it at his own 26, goes left to right, outside the numbers, and down at the 33-yard line. So let's set up shop there on this Marcus possession after the punt by Flower Mound takes it all the way down to the Marcus 26, a 48-yard punt, a 7-yard return.
And I'm real interested to see how the Marauder offense comes out here. Do they try and take the ball down the field as quickly as possible, or do they do what we saw last drive and kind of slowly move it along the lines and maybe run out a little bit more clock? I mean, do you want to run the clock out that much in this game, or do you want to kind of just get the touchdowns and keep going?
I think get the touchdowns and keep going. And now on the season, 76-21, the Marauders have outscored their opponents in the first quarter. Give goes to Respis, who already has a touchdown tonight, and he has a first down here, bursting through a hole on the left side. Devin Coleman takes him down at the 47-yard line. That's a quick gain of 13, but wipe it out. Holding call. That's why the hole was so big.
Yeah, and, we talked about penalty trouble for the Marauders. And it's been something that's plagued their season so far. We didn't see that many against Allen last week, and Coach Stanford commented on it's a testament to the will and determination of his team. And that's their first penalty on the night. And I think taking your first penalty or your second penalty in the second quarter, not too shabby.
Yeah, it's a spot foul of 10 yards back to the 24-yard line. They had a pass interference penalty call earlier. Respis is hit as soon as he gets the ball, and he's slung down at about the 25-yard line, met by the interior there, and Connor Lee was also in there.
I thought I specified first offensive
side
penalty.
Okay,
yeah,
there you go.
That's where we were going with that one. But really, though, offensive penalties have been an area where they've been trying to work on and trying to decrease those, and to take your first one in the second quarter, I think that's looking a lot better.
The penalty hurts, though, because now they're in a second and long situation. Pass from Kaysen for Jake Nelson running a curl route, and it's way too tall for him and the defender, Fierro. So it'll bring about a 3rd down and about 20.
Yeah, and it's tough for Kaysen to do that. Jake Nelson's only 5'10". He's used to throwing to Caden Smith, who's 6'5". So a lot of times you'll see the ball go over his other receiver's heads just because he's so used to hitting that 6'5" target. but not every time you can do that. And when you try and throw to the shorter guys, you got to put it a little bit down low so they're not able to or having to jump 5 feet to get to the ball.
Marcus is going to call timeout here with 9:50 to go in our second quarter. We want to thank our newest sponsor who's come aboard, Lone Star Gridiron. They have all sorts of information about Texas high school football. I got on there today and looked up things about my old high school, and they also want to get people together who used to play football in the state of Texas. Go to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood.
A real quick look around District 6-6A tonight. This game, obviously, Marcus 14, Flower Mound 0. Plano West leading Plano at John Clark Stadium 7-0 in the second quarter. Allen leading Louisville 14-7 in the second quarter. Louisville hanging on there, giving Allen a run for their money early. And McKinney Boyd leading Plano East 7-0. And for our MLB fans out there, the Texas Rangers are currently down to the Los Angeles Angels 1-0 at the end of the third. Martin Perez on the mound for the Rangers, looking to clinch the AL West tonight.
Well, maybe they can do it, or maybe the Astros will fall on their behalf, and that would clinch it also. So some surprising scores there so far, with Allen unable to pull away from Louisville, and then Plano East, that high-powered offense hasn't scored yet after 1 quarter of play. Here, we're early second quarter, 9:50 to go till halftime. From the 24-yard line to gain is the 44, a third down 20. Penalty marker down. This is a free play. It's almost picked off by the safety. It was Coleman drifting back who almost had it, but I believe this is going to be an offsides against Flower Mound.
Yeah, it looks like they were able to draw him off a little bit there. Get the official call from the official here.
Sure enough, 5-yard walk-off for offsides, and that is the first penalty of the night against Flower Mound. To your point earlier, 2 penalties for 25 on Marcus, but last week only 6 penalties for 39, their best penalty night of the year. I asked Coach Stanford about that. He said it just showed how high their concentration was. He was really pleased with how the team played. Felt like they played with great effort and concentration. Third down 15 for Marcus from their own 29. Early second period, throwing it for Caden Smith, and it tips off his hands. That pass was really high, and he got knocked around by Freddie Jackson just as he was trying to come down with the ball. The combination of him and Ben Fierro.
Yeah, we haven't seen Caden Smith really kind of make that impact tonight so far. He's been kind of quiet, I want to say, and that's one of those passes right there where he had to jump a little bit, but you usually see him come down with that one.
Joy and Hauser are twin returners. Now, Joy is going to go up a lot closer, and Hauser is going to stay back at his own 35-yard line. Looks like he's going to dash in and try to block this punt of Mayers. He does come in, good pass, good rush, and a line drive low kick that bounds at the 50, inside the 40 to about the 34-yard line, and that's where Flower Mound will take over. Mayers got a little rattled at the rush that time, but still it turned out to be a pretty good punt.
Yeah, I think seeing Joy come about 30 yards on a full sprint and get up to the line may have startled him a bit there, and it was an interesting punt as it probably only went about 5 yards high. But he was able to roll out to the left a little bit, find an opening, and get a nice little about 30-yard punt in.
Marcus leading 14-0 on the strength of a pair of touchdown runs, one a 5-yarder by C.J. Respis, and the other a 39-yarder by Nate Hopkins. Hopkins now over 600 yards on the season. From the 34-yard line of Flower Mound, Noble Newton alone in the backfield, has a tight end and 4 wide receivers. It's a reverse coming to Freddie Jackson. Sam Morris was all over it, and Jonathan Baudet helps wrap him up at the 27-yard line, a big loss of 7.
Yeah, they tried to do a little trickery there, but Marcus was going to have none of that as Morris was already ready for it and spooked the Jaguars into letting Baudet come in and get all over him and bring him down for a big loss for the Jaguars and letting Marcus be successful once again and avoiding giving up the yards. And we've seen more tackles for loss from the Marauders this season than probably anybody else around the district.
So a second down and long as Newton tries to throw a screen pass, has a man open, and he gets 35, 40, jump. Tries to swing him down finally at the 47-yard line, and that's Uzawihe who gets the first down on a long gainer of about 19 yards.
Yeah, Noble Newton saw the pressure and a little shuttle pass to Uzawihe, and just really caught Marcus off guard there as all their guys were back in the backfield expecting a long pass, not able to come up quick enough to stop Uzawihe.
I was going to say his name, but it would take so long to say it, the play would have been over. We've been practicing all day on that one. 14-0 Marcus, but a fresh set of downs for Flower Mound. As Uzawihe goes in motion, snap goes past Newton. He scoops it up and is hit immediately by Fitzgerald way back inside the 30-yard line. I think that was Hawkins Taylor, was it not, who made the hit?
It was Hawkins Taylor. He had his eyes on the prize on that one as he saw immediately the snap go past Newton. And Newton was just about 1 second from not picking that ball up before getting tackled and having Taylor pick up that ball and maybe possibly return it if he had the chance.
I knew that was the right end, and I thought it was Fitzgerald, but he's taking a breather. And Hawkins Taylor, who went almost all the way at right end in Fitzgerald's place last week, is in at right end right now. So, 17-yard loss. Newton on second down. Lost one up, and it's completed near the first down yardage. That pass went to Joy, tackled by Zach Goff, and I think it's going to be a first down at about the 44.
First down by about a yard there. Huge play for the Jaguars as Goff was just lost him a little bit on his route. He kind of ran about 20 yards straight and then curled in to the right, finding Noble Newton finding him on the pass. Great catch there, and the Jaguars converting. I think this is one of their few conversions this game.
They've had a couple of long passes that have put them in position to get first downs. They certainly are scrappy. Pass this time goes out to Gorlich, and he's run out of bounds by Jop. Inside the 40 at about the 39-yard line. A quick pickup of 5 yards on that swing pass.
Once again, good job by Jop being aware of the situation and seeing that screen pass immediately and getting up quick. He was a little bit back. He was about 10 yards back of the play, but saw the screen pass and immediately went in to cover, pushing him out of bounds, only giving him about 5 yards.
So far, Newton 8 of 11 passing this evening for a total of 82 yards. He has had some negative rushes because of sacks and the bad snap. 7:17 and the clock stops in the second quarter. 14-0 game, Marcus leading. Under pressure, Newton hit as he throws and sails way deep. Incomplete, nobody really had a good chance at that one. The intended receiver looked like Alvis. Alvis for Flower Mound this year is the leading receiver. 29 receptions, 294 yards. Pretty close to what he did last year with 256 yards receiving.
Yeah, and Holcomb played a good man-to-man coverage there as he stayed with him the whole time and played it clean, too, not taking a crucial pass interference play, because if that would have been called, you'd find yourself in a really difficult situation. But now you're looking at 3rd and 5 for the Jaguars.
So Flower Mound on the 3rd and 5 from the Marcus 39. Newton will run on a design run, and he'll be close to the first down, hit from behind, and then brought down. In on the tackle was Hawkins Taylor, I believe, along with Sam Morris. So he's about a yard shy at the 35-yard line.
And that's maybe even less than a yard. It looks like almost inches. I think they're going to spot it at a yard, but that will look pretty darn close from up here. Granted, we are up in the press box.
Newton the only setback. 4th down 1. A big play for Marcus as they try to protect that 14-0 lead. Midway through the second quarter. Ball spotted on the left hash at the Marauders 35. Flower Mound on the move. 8th play of the drive. And it looks like Dane Johnson's going to call a timeout here. We'll take it with him. With our score, Marcus 14, Flower Mound nothing. You're listening to Champion Sports Radio.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be 3 things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute online at gdyo.org/jazz.
Getting ready for a big play in the Mound showdown here at Marauders Stadium, and you can hear the crowd as the players for the Marauders in their red jerseys turn around and urge on the home fans. At the 35-yard line of Marcus, Flower Mound has a 4th down and 1. They started this drive back at their own 34-yard line after a Marcus punt, trying to eat into that 14-point Marcus advantage. Here's Newton, the only man back there. He's going to drop to throw. Being pressured. He gets away from Taylor. Throws it, and it's knocked down by Goff. Knocked down by Goff. Joy, the intended receiver, right at the first down marker.
And once again, we see the pressure really get to Noble Newton there as he had two guys coming his way, tried to get the pass off, and he probably would have had it too if Goff wasn't there, as Goff makes an excellent defensive play there. Once again, smacking the ball down, not even giving him a chance to try and think about making that catch. Big stop there for the Marauders, keeping the shutout alive, and we get another taste of the Marauder offense hitting the field right now.
At their own 34-yard line as they start this possession. In the backfield, Hopkins starts right, now goes left, gets to the second level of the linebackers, and gets to about the 38-yard line as forward progress there. Connor Lee in on the stop.
Once again, we see another instance where Hopkins, he won't go down on first contact. He just won't. As soon as he gets hit, he keeps pushing, if not harder, to try and gain a couple extra yards before being brought down.
To the 38-yard line, and here's the handoff again to Hopkins, and not much doing there. He's finally finished off by Fierro at the 41-yard line. So another gain of 3, back-to-back rushes of 3 yards for Nate Hopkins. And quickly, the Marauders are in a 3rd and 4 situation at their own 41. Both Respis and Hopkins align next to Kaysen in the shotgun. Again, a third give to Hopkins, and he stood up by Connor Lee. That is a stout tackle. Sticks his head in his chest, and the sophomore wrestles him down at the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Connor Lee absolutely fired up right now, getting the crowd going and making a giant stop there. Connor Lee, not to be trifled with, as he's one of the top players for the Jaguars, and there's a reason he was the Dallas Morning News Defensive Player of the Week after McKinney Boyd because of plays like that.
Well, he had 20 tackles in that game and blocked the extra point that would have tied the game in the waning moments. So now John Mayer's back to punt tonight for the third time tonight. 3 of the Marauders go off to the right side, and he kicks it that way. No, he goes down the hash mark instead at the left side. And this is Hauser, who is stacked up pretty well. Elijah Jop, the first of about 4 red jerseys to get there inside the 30-yard line.
Yeah, and Hunter Kobrick was out there. He was able to make a big stop there and finally bring him down completely with some help from his teammates there. And once again, we get to see the Marauder defense that, an interesting dynamic has kind of occurred for the offense over the past couple of downs. They're kind of seeming a little bit more rushed than they did in the first quarter for the second quarter. And I think you kind of just need to slow it down a little bit, right? That's when you're playing your best football. You're not a speed team. Let's be honest, you're not a speed team. You do best when you're kind of relaxing and you're taking your time. I think they need to kind of revert back to that and get a little bit more success on offense this quarter.
You're talking about the Marauders there? The
Marauders, yes.
Right, because they really were trying to push the pace that time. It makes sense sometimes when you have the defense on their heels, but I agree with you. It seemed like they were rushing that time. Newton fakes a pass, then gets slung down by B.J. Copeland. He tried to run the football on a designed run. Fitzgerald on the bottom, Copeland on the top. It's a loss of 4.
And one of the things that the Jaguars haven't really gone with too much is the air game, because you're not going to get much yardage on the ground. You've kind of seen that now for all of this game. So I think the air is the way you need to go if you're the Jaguars.
2nd and 14 from their own 26. Newton now 8 carries, minus 18 yards. He's had about 4 big losses in this game. Go ahead.
We haven't seen him carry the ball as much as we normally do either.
He's going to roll out to the left side, throw it back to the right side, and Goff is there and can't pick it off. He's circled over from the left back side of the defense towards the big M at midfield and went up high, but couldn't hang on to the football. If he had, it would have been his 3rd interception of the season.
Yeah, and both Elijah Jop and Dylan Holcomb on that one stayed pretty far back, given the respect to the receivers of the Jaguars. They've been pretty successful this game, and if Goff wasn't there, that ball might have come down into the arms of the receiver for the Jaguars.
3:47 to go till halftime. 14-0 Marcus here at the Mound Showdown at Marauder Stadium. It's a 3rd down 14. Newton to throw. Under pressure, but they give him a clean pocket. Has a man running free, and he catches it. It's Jackson at the 40. Nobody around him. 30, 20, 10, touchdown. Flower Mound on the board.
And I don't know if that was a case of the Marauder cornerbacks just not seeing them there, but he blew right by him and was unchallenged for the entire play from catch to the end zone. And not a Marauder in sight. I think the nearest guy was a good 20 yards away. Goes in untouched, and look at that. You got a one-possession game going in with 3 minutes left in the half.
There was an unsportsmanlike conduct call on Flower Mound after the play. It does not wipe out the 74-yard touchdown, but it will be assessed on the kickoff. So what a big play that time as Newton connects with Jackson on a 74-yarder.
Couldn't have come at a better time either, as it looked like the Jaguars weren't going to put some points on the board at all this half. They find themselves on the scoreboard with 3 minutes to go.
3:35 left, 14-7 Marcus. You're listening to Champion Sports Radio.
Do you need a boost in exposure? Want to reach local community-minded folks with information about your business? Join the team and advertise during these games. Advertising during high school broadcasts allows your business to reach thousands of local fans right from your community. We use the latest technology in sports broadcasting so that fans at the game will be able to listen live to the broadcast and the commercials. It's also a way for your business to give back to the community by helping all of these well-deserving student athletes get some recognition for their accomplishments. The cost simply cannot be beat for the effect it will have. You get a lot of bang for your buck. And best of all, it provides an opportunity for the best advertisement of all, word of mouth. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
Join us at halftime for stats, scores, and highlights of the first half. That's one of them, a 74-yard pass play from Newton to Jackson to get the Jaguars on the board for the first time, and they trailed 14-7. That capped a 3-play, 70-yard drive after a consecutive punt by the Marcus Marauders. Grant to kick off now. The walk-off back to his own 25-yard line, and it comes down at about the 10-yard line, and that looks like it's Jop going down the boundary, the 40, the 50, the 40, that's Albright. Check Albright and down to the 30-yard line. 30-yard line. What a huge return that time by Alex Albright.
And, you know, a lot of times when you let the other team score, you're going to find yourself down in the dumps a little bit, but not the Marauders. They've been faced with plenty of adversity this season, including last week against Allen, but they keep fighting. And that's a great instance there as Albright grabs the ball and goes for a huge gain, putting the Marauders with great field position, plenty of time left, and once again, they get the ball back at the half.
3:23 to go till halftime, and this play went all the way down to the 30-yard line. Alex Albright back there to receive that kick, and wow, what a job he did to get all the way back with a 60-yard return. High snap this time on first down. Kaysen pulls it down, gives it to Resmus, spin move, second spin move, finally taken down at the 27 after a pickup of 3 yards. Rutherford came over from defensive tackle to finish him off.
Saw Resmus doing what he does best, a lot of spin moves, right? He's a small guy. C.J. Resmus is a 5'9", 187-pound senior. He likes to move, and he likes to juke, and he likes to spin.
And on second down, a quick pass outside, and out of bounds goes Caden Smith as they try to get him going, but there's a penalty marker down on the play.
Not sure exactly what that call could be, but I think my best guess would be a block in the back. I didn't see anything, but based on where the flag is, I think that's our best bet. There seemed to be some confusion within the officials trying to figure out where this call is exactly going. The flag is down at the Jaguar 22, excuse me.
So the original line of scrimmage was the 27. Looks like they're going to call a hold and mark it off from that spot. Let's see what it is. Now they say it. They throw the flag over to the 25-yard line as the line of error. Personal foul tripping against Marcus.
Not something you see
that's
every day.
Costly penalty, and that should be a 15-yard walk-off from the 25.
We saw, a screen pass to Smith on the left side, and he was brought down within a couple yards after getting the ball. The trip must have occurred somewhere right when he was brought down. I didn't exactly have eyes on it.
So from the 40-yard line now, line to gain is the 20-yard line. It'll be second down 20. Kaysen looking, on the corner route, complete to Albright, and he's upended at the 23-yard line by Coleman. But this is the play going to the other side of the field that Albright scored on last week against Allen.
Yeah, Albright had a great game last week against the Eagles, and he knows that he has to step up sometimes when things aren't going right for Caden Smith, and that's exactly what he did just there.
Kaysen keeps it as they snap it quickly, and he's shy of the first down at about the 22-yard line after a fake to Albright coming through on the sweep, the jet sweep, so it's 4th down 2.
And it looks like they're going to go for it as Mitch Kaysen gets back with C.J. Respis to his left.
And they're going to go quickly again. Respis gets a hole off left side, bursts into the secondary, to the 10, to the 5, touchdown! C.J. Respis for the second time tonight.
And once again, that touchdown coming right up the middle, right? These running backs, they don't have to move too far to the outside to find a hole. Due to the great offensive line you have in front of you, they're able to clear out the space. And Respis, that ball got off really quickly, catching the Jaguars off guard, and Respis able to find a hole right up the middle and blast through them for the touchdown. Huge play on 4th down for the Marauders.
20-7, Marcus. That's how you overcome a big 15-yard penalty, is with 2 big plays, a 17-yard pass to Albright and then a 22-yard touchdown run on 4th down by C.J. Respis. Mayer to kick the extra point now. It is true. 21-7 with exactly 2 minutes to go until halftime. This is Marcus Marauders football on Champion Sports Radio.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
What a field flip that time as Flower Mound had scored and gained some momentum to close to within 14-7, but Alex Albright with a 60-yard kickoff return sets up a 4-play, 30-yard drive. This is a short kick by Mayers into the wind. It's taken by Hauser. He weaves his way from right to left, finds a seam across the 25 to about the 29, maybe the 30-yard line, and that is a gain of about 18 yards on a nice return.
And we've seen some success for the Jaguars through the air against the Marauder backs, and you got to believe that they're going to try and stick as true to that as they can here with a minute 51 left in the half, because you're not going to get the ball back. And through the air, you've been able to get some big yards quick and able to catch the Marauders off guard.
I was going to say they have the wind at their back, but you have correctly noted that the wind has been shifting, and it's now coming out of the east, so it's more of a crosswind right now, and you saw it on that kickoff as the kick went way from east to west on Mayers. So from the 29-yard line, Flower Mound with a minute 51 to work at. Newton throws it out, clangs off the hands and almost intercepted. It was clanging off the hands of Gorlich, and Jop was there to try to bring it in. I'm sorry, Holcomb rather. Well, let me try again. It was Matt Hankins. They kind of have a similar lean body build, and sometimes I'm looking at that. But anyway, incomplete pass for Flower Mound.
Very close to an interception there from Matt Hankins.
Yeah, it was Hankins.
It was Hankins getting that right there as he's able just kind of sped by just a little too quickly trying to reach back for it.
Second down 10, 4 wide receiver set. Newton drops the snap. He's under pressure, rolls out left side, decides to run. Across the 30, Morris hits him down inbounds at about the 35-yard line, bringing about a 3rd down.
Great job by Noble Newton there, not panicking when he fumbled the snap. He was able to get the ball up really quickly while he saw the pressure coming on him, roll out to the left, and get a couple yards before being pushed out of bounds.
Reed Oakes, who had 4 tackles last week, 4 tackles last week in a sub role against Allen, comes out. Hawkins Taylor in next to B.J. Copeland on this 3rd down 4. Clock rolls at 1:10. Flower Mound content to drain some time. Now they do have 2 timeouts should they convert the 1st down, but I think they don't want to give too much time to Marcus. Newton back to throw against a 4-man rush, sails it deep down the middle, and it's incomplete. No flag called as Zach Goff took down Desmond Joy, but he was going for the ball, but certainly it was a play where a flag could have been thrown.
And the Flower Mound side definitely not happy about that one. That one was pretty close. He was going for the ball, but you could see his hand somewhat come down very close to the receiver there. I think Marcus caught a little bit of a break there, but nonetheless, great defensive play there by Goff.
Newton is averaging 17 yards of reception tonight, and so they have had some success going deep. Marcus is going to call timeout right here as there was something messed up. One of the coaches came sprinting down the sideline. I believe they had too many men on the field. Was that it?
Yeah,
they had 12 on the field.
Dylan Holcomb was running off, and Coach Stanford desperately trying to get the timeout there to avoid getting the call, because that would be terrible at this point, and a penalty you really don't want to take. I mean, there's some penalties you're sometimes okay with taking. That's one you're never okay with taking.
No, it would keep the drive alive. So Shockbox DFW halftime show coming up with stats, scores, and highlights of the first half. And speaking of Shockbox, this broadcast is sponsored in part by ShockboxDFW.com. Visit them today to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert sensor and determine if it's the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. That's ShockboxDFW.com. Albright, who's been a return star tonight. Last week it was a receiving star. Now he's a return star with a great punt return and kick return. Is back with Ridge Rogers at their own 20-yard line to receive the punt from Josh Grant. Not much pressure. He gets a high one off, sailing it towards Albright. He drifts back to the 15-yard line. The first man misses, but he doubles back and makes the tackle at the 18-yard line as Albright was making a move. So that was a nice play that time. Looked like it was Carpenter Clark in on the tackle. So a long way to go for Marcus with 45 seconds left and only one timeout. What do you do here, Ryan?
Well, you're up 21-7, 45 seconds left. I'd say keep it on the ground, keep the clock rolling, and take this thing into halftime. I don't think you need a score here. I don't think you need to try and send a message. You get the ball back at the half. So maybe just keep the clock rolling, work on some ground game stuff, and don't do anything too risky, because if you get a turnover at this point, you're on their 20, and you're giving them great field position.
Marcus is on the 19-yard line. Case on a very high snap, wings it out to Albright, who on the quick screen goes down the boundary and out of bounds at the 23-yard line. So quick pickup of about 4 yards.
He's pushed out there by Freddie Jackson of the Jaguars. Freddie Jackson, great job there by being aware and seeing that screen pass immediately and moving up. Freddie Jackson, he's kind of comparable to Elijah Jopp for the Jaguars. He's the Jaguars' Elijah Jopp, as he's able to find himself near the ball at somewhat pretty much any play, and quick to do so as well. Looks like there's a flag on the play. I didn't quite catch what he had said there.
I think it's a holding call over there. So wipe out that play on the pass to Albright and spot it back at the 11-yard line. So with 39 seconds to tick away, it looks like that they're just going to take a knee. Kaysen will take it at the 5-yard line and just take the knee there. Quiet night so far for Kaysen. 5 for 10 for 50 yards and no completions to Caden Smith.
Yeah, he may still be tired from last week. He was worked pretty hard last week. I think, it's one of those things where, it happens, right? Not everybody's going to have an all-star game.
There's been a timeout on the field. Well, I guess they're just going to let the clock run off, and both teams have left the field now. Even though there's still 5 seconds left on the clock, they're halfway to the dressing room. So that's the end of our first half. Our score, the Marcus Marauders 21 and the Flower Mound Jaguars 7. Coming up next, we'll have the Shockbox DFW halftime show, and we'll be back with a look at stats and scores when the Shockbox DFW halftime show returns.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org. This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Daly from LoneStarGridiron.com, the authority on Texas high school football. Quick question, did you play Texas high school football? If you did, it doesn't matter what school, it doesn't matter what year, we want to honor you at Lone Star Gridiron. Go over to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood and sign up. It's absolutely free, and we can honor you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
Are you looking for a way to promote your business or increase exposure? Do you just need more people to know that you're there? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games to more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. Think about it. Die-hard fans just like you tune in each and every week, giving your business unparalleled access to the community. It's the perfect way for smaller individually owned businesses to cultivate a core clientele or expand their already loyal customer base. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
Stay up on all the latest news about the teams you care about and know when your favorite games are on the air thanks to Champion Sports Radio social media. Either follow at Champion Sports on Twitter or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/championsportsradio, and you will know what time your game starts, who was named Player of the Week, or what your school's alumni are doing in college. That's on Twitter at Champion Sports and facebook.com/championsportsradio, your home for championship social media.
And welcome back to the Shockbox DFW halftime show as the Flower Mound band takes the field, and for some reason they have a lot of eggs on wheels. Maybe those are footballs. Kind of look like eggs. I don't know.
You never know. You never know with these bands what exactly they're doing out there. It's I'd like to think it's a lot of subliminal messages being thrown around.
Well, a lot of the time they are getting ready for their contest show that comes usually in November. So anyway, let's take a break here with what we've been doing and shift over to look at other games from around the area as it's time for our halftime scoreboard with Ryan.
Yeah, Cecil, so while we have the Mound showdown here in Flower Mound to see who owns Flower Mound, Plano and Plano West facing off in the heart of Plano at John Clark Stadium to see who runs that town. Of course, Plano East was going to want some of that too, but for now we have to stick with Plano and Plano West. That game is all tied up at 7 at the halftime. Total yards for the Plano Wildcats, 125. Plano West countering with 112. 7 first downs for the Wolves and 5 for the Wildcats. As far as rushing goes, 15 carries for 56 yards for the Wildcats and 13 carries for -3 yards for the Plano West Wolves. You better believe they're missing Soso Jamabo tonight, as they have not been in the negative column much as far as this season goes. From passing, 69 yards in the air for the Wildcats, 115 for the Plano West Wolves. Plano completing about 50% of their passes, while Plano West only 31%. Tyler Campbell leading the Plano West rushing attacks, 13 yards on the night. For him, unfortunately, that was negated by Logan Williams, who had 3 carries for -22 yards. Matt Keys passing for Plano, 5 completions off 10 attempts, 69 yards, no touchdowns for them. Through the air, rushing Brandon Stevens, 11 carries for 55 yards, averaging just about 5 yards per carry. Carson Williams leading the receiving attack for the Wildcats, 2 receptions, 37 yards. And for the Wolves, Jackson Weber, 3 receptions for 79 yards. Let's move on over to McKinney Boyd and Plano East. Plano East leading McKinney Boyd 15-7. Mind you, McKinney Boyd was the team that fell to the Jaguars earlier in the season. Total yards on that game, Plano East 195, McKinney Boyd countering with 131. Both notched at 8 first downs tonight. Pretty even there. 14 carries, 95 yards for the Panthers. 21 carries, 56 yards for McKinney Boyd. Averaging 6.79 yards are the Panthers, with 54% completion of their passes, right at 100 yards for them through the air. 75 yards for McKinney Boyd. And as far as punts go, McKinney Boyd having to boot it away 3 times, while Plano East only once. Grant Restmeyer, 8 completions off 11 attempts, completing 72% of his passes. And Brandon Bowling, 6 attempts, 37 yards for rushing. And Steven Driscoll leading the receiving attack for McKinney Boyd, 4 receptions, 39 yards. Adi Almotosho for Plano East receiving, 2 receptions, 45 yards. And Jonathan Meters, 3 attempts, 53 yards on the ground. Miklo Smalls, 6 completions, 11 attempts for the Plano East Panthers. Once again, that game 15-7, Plano East at the half. Now let's move over to Allen and Louisville. Both teams that the Marauders have played, Marauders beating Louisville and falling to Allen last week, 38-28. Allen is currently leading Louisville 24-7 at the half. Louisville trying to hang on there and was doing so in the first quarter, but Allen able to pull away just a bit. Allen, remind you, 5-0 on the season, 3-0 in district, has not lost a district game since 2010. Yeah, you heard me, 2010. They have 281 yards that game. Louisville countering with 94. First downs, 11 for Allen, 5 for Louisville. Passing yards, not as much for Allen, 79, and Louisville at 57. Only had to punt it away once is the Eagles, while Louisville having to punt it away 4 times. Seth Green, 5 attempts, 4 completions, and Mitchell Jonke, 8 attempts with 4 completions. Seth Green at 80 yards, Mitchell Jonke at 50. We saw both of them last week as the Marauders played them. Seth Green started out that game until Jonke eventually took over. No touchdowns for either of them through the air. Kirby Bennett leading the rushing attack, 9 attempts, 106 yards, averaging just about 12 yards per carry. Dante McGee, Louisville leading the rushing attack, 10 attempts, 23 yards. And Tyler Shavers, 1 reception, 31 yards for a big pass completion. Kerry Hall leading the receiving attack for the Allen Eagles, 3 receptions, 27 yards. Now let's head down to District 7 6A as South Lake Carroll losing to Coppell, 14-7. as that game is all but one score away at the half. Total yards in that game, 247 for Coppell, 169 for Southlake. And Mason Holmes of Southlake, 18 attempts, only 8 completions for 102 yards, while Brady McBride, 12 attempts, 4 completions. And Joe Fex leading the rushing attempt, 13 attempts, 108 yards, while Zach Farrar leading the receiving for Southlake, 1 reception, huge 57 yards. Once again, that game, Coppell 14, Southlake Carroll 7 at the half. That's your look around the high school District 6A notable games. We're going to take a short break and come back with some highlights from that amazing first half on the Champion Sports Radio Network.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be 3 things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute, online at gdyo.org/jazz.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShotboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
And we're back here at Marauders Stadium with our Shockbox DFW halftime show. Cecil Taylor, Ryan Medlin with you. And it's time to take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. And there were a few that we want to cover as we go through this first half. The game started with a drive first by Flower Mound, ending with a punt. And Alex Albright came back with a 38-yard punt return to set up great field position at the 26-yard line for the Marcus Marauders. From there, they went 6 yards in 26 plays, capped it off with a C.J. Respa's 5-yard run, and that made it 7-0 at that point with about 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. After the teams traded punts on the ensuing Marcus punt, Desmond Joy returned a punt 36 yards deep into Marcus territory, but that drive ended with a 41-yard missed field goal by the Flower Mound Jaguars. So it was still 7-0 as we entered late first quarter territory. Starting at their own 24-yard line, it was a nice drive put together by Marcus, going 7 plays, 76 yards, and it ended with this touchdown burst. Seventh play of the drive coming now. Handoff to Hopkins off left guard behind Elliott. He's into the clear. The 30, the 20. They're in pursuit at the 10. To the 5. He sails into the end zone after a tackle. It's a touchdown for Marcus, and they are up 13-0.
Right up the middle, Hopkins is able to find a...
And so Hopkins getting his touchdown that time. That is his 8th rushing touchdown of the season, 9th touchdown overall. Then a couple of drives later, with about the midway point, with just over six minutes to go until halftime, Flower Mound was knocking on the door, threatening to cut into that 14-0 lead. They were at the 35-yard line of Marcus with a 4th down 1, and the Marauders had a really big play on defense. Flower Mound has a 4th down and 1. They started this drive back at their own 34-yard line after a Marcus punt, trying to eat into that 14-point Marcus advantage. Here's Newton, the only man back there. He's going to drop to throw, being pressured. He gets away from Taylor, throws it, and it's knocked down by Goff. Knocked down by Goff. Joy, the intended receiver, right at the first down marker. And so the ball went over at that point, but Marcus couldn't do anything with it. They went 3 and out and had to punt the ball away, taking over at their own 30-yard line. It only took the Flower Mound Jaguars 3 plays to get on the board for the first time tonight. 3:47 to go till halftime. 14-0 Marcus here at the Mound Showdown at Marauders Stadium. It's a 3rd down 14. Newton to throw. Under pressure, but they give him a clean pocket. Has a man running free, and he catches it. It's Jackson at the 40. Nobody around him. 30, 20, 10, touchdown. Flower Mound on the board. So that 74-yard touchdown reception cut the deficit to 14-7. However, Alex Albright on the ensuing kickoff went 60 yards with a kickoff return, and that set up the Marauders in great field position. From there, it took 4 plays to go 30 yards. Now, in this possession, you may recall, there was a 15-yard personal foul penalty that set them back at the 40, but a long pass of 17 to Albright cut into the deficit to get a first down, and then it turned into a 4th and 2 situation after that.
And it looks like they're going to go for it as Mitch Cason gets back with C.J. Respis to his left.
And they're going to go quickly again. Respis gets a hole off left side, bursts into the secondary, to the 10, to the 5, touchdown! C.J. Respis for the second time tonight. So with his second score, it made it 21-7 Marcus, and that's where we stand at this point at the halfway point. So let's take a break and come back with more of the Shockbox DFW halftime show. We'll look at some of the statistics and hear from the Marcus Band when we continue on Champion Sports Radio.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be 3 things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute online at gdyo.org/jazz.
Many heart conditions can be fixed, but many of us don't know we have a problem until it's too late. On April 2nd, 2009, Zachary Schraw, a 16-year-old sophomore offensive lineman, died of sudden cardiac arrest, the #1 cause of death among student athletes. Like so many SCA victims, Zach had no heart issues, nor did anyone in his family. If Zach had an echocardiogram, he might have been able to avoid suffering a condition that takes 10,000 of our youth each year. In his memory, Living for Zachary was formed to try and prevent SCA from taking the lives of youth everywhere. Join in the fight today and stop the silent killer of SCA by scheduling your young athlete for an echocardiogram, a procedure that can detect any heart issue with 99% accuracy. For more information, visit www.livingforzachary.org. That's living4zachary.org, and let your heart be heard.
We're at Marauders Stadium for the halftime performance by the Marcus High School Band, and they must be getting ready for contest because we've got some special effects going on, including there's a formation near midfield where players or members of the band are standing on these pads that seem to lift them about 5 or 6 feet up in the air. So some special props. So things are getting more complicated. When I was in high school, we just marched around in a big block, you know.
Yeah, see, so it looks like they're running the 1-2-2 band formation there. Guys in the back moving up to about 3 feet to get a nice little height on them and bring themselves over the rest of the band to kind of overpower themselves amongst the rest of the band.
Let's take a listen for just a moment to the Marcus High School Band. Well, they say you have to specialize these days, and it's good to see somebody who's more of a generalist. Dylan Holcomb playing with the band here at halftime.
Yeah, he's rocking the bassoon down there, and you got to love it, right? He's in full uniform without the helmet, playing the bassoon alongside his fellow classmates, and props to Coach Stanford for letting him do that. You know, a lot of coaches will be pretty strict about being in there for halftime, locker room speech, and all that stuff. But I think that sends a good message, Coach Stanford, letting Holcomb down there and letting him pursue a musical career as well, as long as a football one.
At the small high school I went to, the drum major played on the football team. He was a guard, and he would go out and lead at halftime in his football uniform. So I don't think the coach minded him going out, though. So anyway, let's look at some of the stats from the first half. It's it's been an interesting first half for the Marcus defense as they have held Flower Mound to minus 23 rushing yards, but yielded 156 passing for a total of 133. Now, the 156 passing, to put it in perspective, is consistent with how Flower Mound has done this year. They average 260 a game passing, so they're a little bit ahead of pace. But for the Marcus defense, they only give up 138 passing a game. That's 10th in DFW, first in the district, and yet they've already exceeded that in the first half tonight.
Yeah, it's one of those things where things are going so well on the ground for the Marauder defense that they haven't really had the time to think about through the air, which the Jaguars are slowly starting to pick up. We saw them try and keep the ball on the ground as much as possible in the first quarter, but then they started realizing in the second quarter, hey, maybe putting it through the air may be our best option. And we saw a couple of the receivers for the Jaguars blow by the Marauder backs and able to get huge gains through the air. So expect the second half to look a lot like a Big 12 team, if you will, and just run the air raid and try and get the ball down the field any way you can successfully. And right now, that's through the air.
Well, to support what you're saying, Newton, 9 of 17 for 156 yards and a touchdown and no turnovers so far in the first half. And his receivers pretty much have some gaudy stats. They've spread the ball around. Jackson had the 74-yard catch for a touchdown, so he has a great average. Joy, a 27-yard catch, a 19-yarder for Uzawihe, and then 2 for 24 for Gorlich. Short passes to Alves for 3 and to Coleman for 2. But on the ground, no rusher has positive yardage, as Newton is 9 for minus 12. Jackson 1 for minus 7 on the reverse, and Uzawihe 1 carry for 4. Actually, Limke has 2 carries for 0, so he's the leading rusher with 0 right now. Now, as far as the Marcus offense is concerned, they have 7 first downs, 103 rushing, solid night so far, but only 46 passing as they can't get the aerial attack untracked. A total of 149 yards, and that's behind their usual mark. They go 365 a game, so they are not on pace for that. Something interesting in looking at the two teams, total return yards, 111 for Flower Mound, 109 for Marcus. We've seen some big returns tonight. Turning to the individual stats for the Marauders, leading rusher is C.J. Respis with 8 carries for 52 yards and 2 touchdowns in his full return from injury. Hopkins, after really having to be a workhorse and carrying the ball 63 times while Respis was sidelined, is getting a night off, basically. 7 carries for 51. For him, that's a walk in the park to only have 7 carries.
Yeah, and one of the other things I'm noticing is the Jaguars have done a great job of shutting down Caden Smith. Mitch Kaysen, that's his safety net right there, and he hadn't been able to locate his safety net tonight. And I think that speaks a big part to the Jaguars and how they're handling him. You got to believe they watched a lot of footage on the kid coming into this game, and they knew that a big pass is the way they usually like to go between Kaysen and Smith, and they've done a great job of shutting him down.
And Albright as well. Smith is 3rd in the area in receptions, and Albright is 7th, and they are 1 and 2 in the district. But tonight, each only has a single reception, 1 for 11 for Smith, 1 for 17 for Albright. Davis has caught 2 for 18, as Kaysen is 4 of 9 for 46 yards, no touchdowns, only a 44% mark. So the Marcus Band is wrapping up their halftime show now as they exit towards the south end zone. And our score is Marcus 21 and Flower Mound 7 as we wrap up our Shockbox DFW halftime show. Teams about ready to come back on the field. Let's take a break. You're listening to Champion Sports Radio coverage of Marcus Marauders football.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management. The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
Getting ready to start the third quarter here at Marauders Stadium on a wonderfully fall evening. It's not all the way freezing yet or very cold, but it's just crisp, and people are enjoying what they've been able to experience here with the cool front moving through. So Brian, as we look at the second half and Marcus leading Flower Mound 21-7, what are some of the things that you think are important as the second half gets underway?
You know, there's a big reason. As a little kid, you don't really understand it at first, but you kind of start to when you grow up, and that's why you don't receive the ball in the first half to begin things. You defer to the second half for this very reason, right? Because you want the momentum in the second half. The second half is where games are won. Anything can happen in the first half, and anything can negate that in the second half, Cecil. We've seen some crazy comebacks in the second half, and we've seen some heartbreaking losses come at the hands of a second half all throughout football and college, NFL. It happens at any age. So by Marcus deferring to the second half, they have the opportunity to put the ball in their hands and get things going for the second half of this game quick. And I think it's crucial that they get some points on the board, whether that be 3 or 6 or 7. You got to put some points on the board, and you got to do it, and not necessarily quick, but set a good pace for your team where you're moving quick enough, where you're not taking penalties and you're not leading turnovers.
I feel like that Marcus hasn't played that badly. Flower Mound is just playing really well, and I'm really impressed with their ability to come back after negative plays. They had a bad snap for -17. They've had a couple of other big setbacks, and yet they were able to overcome those and get first downs.
Yeah, and we've seen that all season. It's the setbacks are what really builds a team, right? How you respond in the face of setbacks. And Marcus, every time they come up with something or in some way to kind of get the momentum back on their side, whether it be a big catch or whether it be a big stop by the defense, they usually find a way to get it back and ground themselves enough to get things going back in the right direction and not fall too far into a slump and stay there for the rest of the game.
Here come the Marauders onto the field, and they're welcomed by the Mound Showdown crowd on the home side. And then you can hear the Jaguars sprinting out with celebration on the Flower Mound side. A great scene for high school football in the state of Texas. Again, some of the scores going on as we enter the third quarter. District 6A is just a tough place to play, and there's not really huge leads going on. Plano West and Plano tied at 7 in the third. Allen up 24-7 on Louisville as the Fighting Farmers hang in there in the third quarter. And Plano East barely up on McKinney Boyd by 15-7 in the third. That was a game I thought might be close, but I really thought Plano East would have that well in hand. But so far, it's really been going the way of McKinney Boyd to keep it close.
I tell you what, Cecil, the term Friday Night Lights was coined because of Texas high school football, and I think right now you have the perfect stage for that as we have a sold-out crowd here at Marcus Stadium, and these fans are ready to see some second-half action for the Mound Showdown, a rivalry that has been enveloped in passion, heat-of-the-moment action, and a lot of physicality because both these teams want to put a W in the win column, not just to have that extra win in the district, but to also have a little point of pride and some smack talk going in to your buddies across the town.
And a lot more dancing than when I was in school. Matt Hankins and C.J. Rusmus are out on the field at about the 40-yard line doing something that probably should be YouTubed as they get ready for the start of the second half. Marcus looks suspicious of some trickery, and they have 9 men pulled up within 20 yards of that original boundary. Alex Albright, the only one deep, standing back in his end zone. So Marcus expecting perhaps for Flower Mound to try to seize some control with an onside in the second half.
And once again, there is still a strong crosswind from east to west. We've seen it all game, and it's been a factor on these kicks and field goals as well. So expect this ball to push to the right just a bit.
So Josh Grant set to kick off, and he's going to kick this one on a line drive that bounces at the 10-yard line and will go all the way through the end zone, and Marcus will take it at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, Alex Albright said no thank you to that one and just let it blow right past him. He said, I'll take the free yards and not try to even pick this one up. And like we talked about coming into the half, it's going to be really important here for Marcus to do something big, whether it be get 3 points off a field goal or a touchdown. I think getting points on the board early, like you did in the first half, is going to be crucial to your success in the second half.
So getting underway in the second quarter, Nate Hopkins is the lone setback standing next to Mitch Kaysen, who has Caden Smith in the backfield as a blocking type back, and he'll lead Hopkins through the hole behind Trey Elliott at left guard, and he has a quick first down across the 35 to the 36-yard line. One of the men on the tackle was Clatterbaugh coming up from the secondary.
And once again, Hopkins able to find a hole up the middle. We haven't seen too many outside runs, Cecil. It's been all up the middle for the Marauders, which is not normal, if that makes any sense at all.
Hopkins carrying again, dragging men with him across the 40 to the 43-yard line.
And I think that's one of the keys for the Marauders' ground game is just put it up the middle. We have guys big enough on the front line to battle in the trenches and really clear things out. Once again, this offensive line averaging just above 275 pounds. They're big guys, and they know how to move the defense around well.
So on 2nd and 3, Hopkins will start left, then circle back on a counter to the right, and he's up near midfield with another first down.
We've seen this quite a bit throughout the season for the Marauders, just moving the ball slowly on the ground, right? And we saw them kind of get away from that in the second quarter. They started to rush things a bit, and we saw 3 and outs quite often. So to be able to move the ball on the ground like they're doing right now, I think is going to be huge and pay off later on.
3 straight Hopkins carries, now 24 yards. First down at their own 49. Here comes Hopkins again. A skip and a dive across the midfield stripe into the arms of Connor Lee at the 48-yard line. Help that time provided also by the defensive end, Hayden Brewer. So a short gain of 3.
And Marcus setting up really quickly. They're starting to move a little bit quicker now.
And another give to Hopkins. 5th time in a row, he starts right, goes left with that counter action. And there's a penalty marker down near the end of the play as his helmet was ripped off as he goes down at the 45-yard line to Flower Mound. I wonder if this will be a face mask, but instead it's going to be a holding call against Marcus.
And Hopkins is going to have to come out after that one, which he could probably use after that set of downs for him. He was used quite frequently there. He might need a little bit of break. C.J. Respis coming in to take his place. As you know, once you lose your helmet, you got to come off for a play.
21-7 Marcus at the 10:41 mark of the third quarter after the holding call. Officials are starting to mark it back. I think the spot of it was the 46-yard line, so we anticipate them setting the ball down at the 44-yard line in Marcus territory. Just underway in the third quarter, Marcus has led the whole way. After scoring 2 touchdowns, Flower Mound struck with a 74-yard touchdown pass, and Marcus immediately responded with another touchdown run. This one, the second of the night by C.J. Respis to make it late second quarter score of 21-7. That's where we are now, early third quarter. It's a 2nd down 16 at their own 44-yard line. Back to pass, Kaysen looking over the middle. There's Davis. It's a little too tall. Just can't quite get it. Coverage that time provided by Ben Fierro. Incomplete.
And Michael Davis just running a little bit of an out route there. Got about 15 yards out before cutting in. Mitch Kaysen underestimating his speed there, or overestimating his speed there just a little bit. Puts the ball in front of him, and Davis not able to come up with it.
Davis comes back wide left. Caden Smith, a tight end right. 2 receivers outside of him as the ball is centered between the hash marks on 3rd and 16. Kaysen back to throw, 4-man rush, good pocket. Throws that out to the side, complete to Albright. This is a short gain, and he's knocked out of bounds by Coleman just inside Flower Mound territory at the 49, and Marcus will have to punt.
And that's not the best way to start the second half, having to take a penalty like that and then find yourself in a hole that you can't get out of and ending up having to punt. You ran off a little bit of clock there, but, you really needed points on the board. You have a 2-score lead right now, and you better believe Flower Mound's going to be pumped up after getting a big stop like that.
2-man deep back to receive this. Kletterball, who sat out the first half apparently, and also back there is Hayden Hauser. And Hauser's going to call for a fair catch, drops it at the 20-yard line, but falls on it back at the 16-yard line.
Yeah, Hauser called for the fair catch, and it kind of just slid right through his hands as he had immediate pressure by number 23 for the Marauders, Cameron Hupfer. He was right on him and trying to pick up that ball as he saw it fall through the hands of the Jaguars.
So start this possession for Flower Mound at their own 16-yard line, one of their worst starting field positions of the night. 9:38 to go, third quarter. Flower Mound trails Marcus by 2 touchdowns, 21-7. Noble Newton has gone all the way at quarterback. He's the single man in the backfield. Back to throw. This looks like a quick out, and it's complete. And getting too close to the first down marker is the receiver, and that is Jack Sikora, who catches it at the 25-yard line, and Elijah Jop was over there to run him out of bounds.
Yeah, Jop doing what he does best, able to be really aware of the situation and realizing where he needs to be quickly. And usually you find him pushing guys out of bounds because he's getting over to the sides as quick as anybody.
2nd down 1 from their own 25. Jaguars, Newton will go left. He'll keep it himself. Cut back left to right and has lots of running room across the 30, 35, 37-yard line. Jop teams up with Matt Hankins on the tackle, but a nice run by Noble Newton.
Yeah, and, Newton, throughout the season, he's been taking the ball himself a lot. Hadn't seen it too much tonight. I think he's, seen how the run game has worked so far. Surprisingly, though, Flower Mound still trying to go with a little bit of a ground game and not putting the ball up in the air as much as they probably should this half.
Newton has over 1,600 yards total offense this year, 461 on the ground coming in. First down, under pressure, and he's going to go down. Fitzgerald all over him back at the 30-yard line. He hit him high, and B.J. Copeland teamed up with him low for a big loss.
Good job there by Copeland getting on him quick first and able to slow him down while Fitzgerald comes in and finishes him off, bringing him down, and that's a big stop there as that pushes him back 7 for the Marauders.
Fitzgerald in on his 6th sack of the season. I'm just guessing that because he had 4 coming in and has a couple tonight. So from the 30-yard line of Flower Mound, a second down and 17 as the clock winds at 8:35 in the third quarter. 4-man front, overstacked to the left side this time. Here comes Fitzgerald again. The pass over the middle, nobody can get to it. It was a post route intended that time for Joy with Goff on the coverage, but it was out of everybody's reach.
Yeah, Desmond Joy reaching out for that one, just peeling off his fingers. Goff playing conservative in the backfield. Probably had, Stanford let them know, the safeties in the locker room at halftime, that they're probably going to throw the ball as much as they can.
And we have an offsides penalty called against Marcus, so wipe out that play and move it up to the 35-yard line. So an advantage that time to get back some of the yardage they lost on the sack, and it will remain second down and 12 instead of third down 17.
And right away we can see the impact of penalties on this game so far. Really just momentum killers, and they're also drive extenders for the opposite team. And, last week when you only took 6 against Allen, you didn't have momentum killed like you did here, but taking offsides penalties like that can hurt you.
6 for 39 last week, 6 for 55 in penalty yardage against Marcus this week. So on 2nd and 12, a quick pass out to the sideline, and it's complete, and up near first down yardage goes the receiver that time. And that was Sikora again. Jack Sikora, the senior. It's 1 yard shy of the first down at about the 46.
And slowly you can see the momentum going more and more on the Jaguars side as Marcus almost looks tired out there with 8 to go in the third quarter. They need to get some momentum here and force a big stop here on 3rd and 1.
A 3rd down 1 now.
The safeties for the Marauders not playing conservative. They're up pretty far right next to the linebackers.
Look for a run here from Newton. He's going to start to the right side, keep it himself, and he's hit, and a wave of defenders brings him down. Reed Oaks and Jonathan Baudet helped out Sam Morris, who was the one with the first hit, just about the line of scrimmage, maybe a half-yard loss. It'll bring about 4th down.
Big stop there by the Marauders. Unfortunately for them, they're going to go for it here at 4th and 1 and expect maybe the ball to stay on the ground once again. Although if I'm the Jaguars, I'm going to throw a little screen pass out to the left or right and try and keep it in the air.
We'll see what happens. The run didn't work. Let's see if they go with the pass on 4th down 2. Lots of noise from the home fans. Big play early here in the third quarter. As Flower Mound pauses for a moment to check the signal, and they're going to call a timeout. Not sure that they're going to go for it here as Dane Johnson has, well, I want to say he's called a timeout, but one of the officials came over and talked to the referee. So we'll see what this is going to be.
The flag.
There's no flag. They've waved off a flag, and we're going to get reset. So not sure what all that was about, but anyway, let's bring up the intensity again, and that's how the crowd does here at the Mound Showdown at Marauders Stadium. 21-7 Marcus. Clock rolls inside of 7 minutes of the third quarter, and Flower Mound is making a daring move to go for it on 4th down from their own 45. Blitz look from the Marcus Marauders.
An empty backfield as well for the Marauders. They have no one really playing deep, which they've been burned a couple times tonight deep. You think you'd want to put one guy back there at least.
Tight coverage everywhere, and there's a penalty marker down as they get going, and it looks like a motion penalty coming up, or a delay. It's a delay of game penalty. And so Flower Mound has decided to change their mind and kick the football after that. But interesting move by the Marcus defense. They had no safety deep. All the defensive backs were up close in press coverage, and it was a blitz look, so they were bringing the house on this play.
Right, and 4th and 1, normally the team's going to try and run it up the middle, but the way the pass game has worked for the Jaguars recently, I say you throw a screen pass and you probably get that yard and more.
Grant back to punt again. High snap, not much pressure though. He gets this one, an end-over-end kick that Albright is going to watch bounce and decides the better of it. It's going to roll inside the 10 and inside the 5, and they're going to down it at the 1-yard line. Marcus will take over there when we continue on Champion Sports Radio.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888.
Marcus comes out at their own 1-yard line now. Taking over. Kaysen standing in the end zone for the shotgun snap. And the give goes to Respis, who dances around and dives around outside the end zone for a moment. He was going the wrong direction, but he still is able to pick up about 5 yards out to the 6. What was he doing in the end zone?
That was a risky play, and Coach Stanford was probably having a heart attack on the sideline as Respis was doing jukes and spins in the end zone.
2nd down 5. Respis takes the handoff again, finds a little crease, but not much, before Connor Lee rides him down at the 9-yard line, but they're making some yardage from the 1 out to their 9 in 2 plays.
Yeah, and going back to that first play, Respis was in the end zone for a good 3 or 4 seconds before finally making a move out wide left. Luckily for them, there wasn't a safety.
Midway 3rd quarter, Marcus leads by 2 touchdowns, trying to take it easy here and gain some yardage, get away from their own goalposts. Kaysen will throw on 3rd down 2, looking for Caden Smith. He's open, shook a defender at the 20 and up to the 25-yard line. Defender fell down that time, and Caden Smith found himself open for the 1st down.
And I think that's going to be huge for confidence for Caden Smith. I mean, not that he needs it, but this game he's been, he hadn't really been a factor yet, and getting a pass like that to him can really kind of boost his confidence and boost your confidence as well if you're Mitch Kaysen, that you can get the ball to him cleanly.
1st down at the 26 of the Marauders. Ball on the left hash after the out-of-bounds play. Pass outside to Albright. Smith blocks for him, and he wins his way behind Smith for about 7 yards. For Albright's 2nd catch of the night, and on the season now, Albright has a total of 32 receptions.
And he's brought down viciously by 44, Connor Lee. Once again, one of the feistier players for the Jaguar defense.
He's everywhere. The handoff goes to Respis on 2nd down. Spin move to get a 1st down across the 40 to the 44-yard line. He made a man miss in the backfield. I think that was the defensive end, Eric Curl, who couldn't hang on to Respis, and he picks up a big gain that time. Out to the 44, a gain of 11.
Respis is one of the most agile running backs in 6A. Being a partner to Hopkins isn't easy, but he's so agile and able to move so well on the ground.
He'll take it left side, nothing there. Tries to go to the right side, nothing there. Gets to the line of scrimmage, and he's brought down by Thomas Randall, the linebacker. First time we've called his name tonight. Marcus, no gain on that play, a 2nd down 10, but they have moved from their own 1-yard line out to their 44 as we go into the 5-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. Marcus 21, Flower Mound 7. Kaysen talking to Hopkins in the backfield, who has replaced Respis. And Hopkins takes it off the left side, tries to get back to the right, and Connor Lee is there to stuff him after a gain of 3 to the 47, setting up a passing situation on 3rd down.
Great job by the Jaguars the last couple plays of really closing the gaps and filling the holes. They haven't really done that successfully up till now. But we've seen 2 big stops there by the Jaguars, leading to 3rd down and 7.
Smith is a tight end left with 2 receivers outside of him on 3rd down 7. Let's see what Marcus goes with. They pause and look to the side. Nelson and Albright out to one side. I'm trying to see the receiver to the other side. I think that's Parrish. He has single coverage there. Mitch looking left, though, and he's hit and brought down on a stunt coming in from Rutherford. Rutherford is the defensive tackle who circled around on the stunt to the outside and came the long way around to record his 3rd sack of the season.
And, Mitch Kaysen, that was his blind side. He didn't even see him coming there and had no idea Rutherford was right on him and was not able to make any sort of attempt to get the ball away before being sacked. And we've seen the Jaguars really take it up a notch on the defensive side of the ball.
Loss of 6 in a 3rd quarter that has been scoreless. We've held at 21-7 Marcus since about the 2-minute mark of the 1st half. Mayer's under some pressure this time, but he gets off a nice end-over-end kick. It's going to hit and bounce straight up at the 30-yard line and down there by Dylan Holcomb. Let's take a break. You're listening to Champion Sports Radio.
Stay up on all the latest news about the teams you care about and know when your favorite games are on the air thanks to Champion Sports Radio social media. Either follow @Champion Sports on Twitter or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/championsportsradio, and you will know what time your game starts, who was named Player of the Week, or what your school's alumni are doing in college. That's on Twitter @Champion Sports and facebook.com/championsportsradio, your home for championship social media.
So a nice drive by the Marcus Marauders, going 40 yards in 9 plays, gets them away from their own end zone and flips the field back. Flower Mound starts in their own end of the field at the 30-yard line. Noble Newton drops the snap, and he's under pressure and just barely gets back to the line of scrimmage that time, as I believe that was Fitzgerald in on the tackle along with Dominic Farmer, who has joined the lineup.
And surprisingly tonight, Cecil, we haven't seen any turnovers from either side of the football. We've seen a lot of fumbled snaps, over the head snaps, and things such as that, but no turnovers.
One near interception by Zach Goff in the first half. That's the only one I can think of. 2nd down 10, ball centered between the hash marks at the 30. Looking into the flat right side, complete, first down yardage. Nice play. I believe that was Sikora again who caught that pass, and they are starting to make some tracks there on a first down.
Unfortunately, Holcomb was on him, but he gave him a push, but he pushed him in the field, up the field, and gave him probably a good 4 or 5 extra yards off that push alone before he eventually tripped over himself and fell to the ground.
Sikora now 4 catches, 36 yards, and a first down at the 41-yard line in Flower Mound territory. Ball on the left hash, 4 wide receivers this time. Newton going to run it right up the middle, and right there to stop him is Sam Morris. Just a nice form tackle right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Morris saw that coming from a mile away, as Newton didn't really try to fake it out or anything. He just grabbed the ball and took it. Morris said no, closed up the hole, and was able to stop him. And you can see the strength of Morris there. You know, he's only 5'10", 170 pounds, but Noble Newton ran straight into him and could not move another inch. Noble Newton, he just could not move at all there.
Newton is almost back to positive yardage. He has -7 on the night because of all the sacks. 2 minutes to go, third quarter. 21-7 Marcus. Pass over the middle, and it's caught for a first down. A leaping catch that time by the wide receiver, except now Marcus says that they have it, but they actually don't. I believe that was Freddie Jackson on the reception.
And once again, you know, we've seen an uncontested catch from the Jaguars. The cornerbacks for Marcus seem confused at where to be and who to cover, and the passing game for the Jaguars continues to excel.
Second first down of this drive, and into Marcus territory go the Jaguars at the 46-yard line. Newton getting him with quick passes. He scrambles up the middle, and Hawkins Taylor is all over him, although he goes forward a little bit more till Julian Gambino brings some assistance at the 44, a gain of a couple.
Hawkins Taylor, good job picking up, again, Noble Newton, who's starting to feel a little bit more confident back there in running the ball on his own. We've seen him do it all season, haven't seen it too much tonight, but I think he's trying to get himself back into positive yardage to look better on the stats tonight due to all these sacks and tackles for losses.
So a 2nd down, 8. Counting down to the 1 minute mark of the third quarter as Flower Mound tries to get back in this one. A slant pass, and it tips off the fingers of the receiver, and Cameron Hupfer was going for the tackle on Tillotson, and then it hit him right in the head. So it goes incomplete.
It's one of those plays where you got to say, come on, Hupfer, get your head in the game. Coach, I did. I don't know what you want me to do.
That's the first one Newton's missed in the second half. He had 8 incompletions in the first half and 5 straight completions in this half before that incompletion. Crowd cranks up the noise on 3rd down 8. Marauders trying to make a stand at their own 44-yard line, leading 21-7. Noble Newton looks right this time, and coming in, he gets away from a man. Hawkins Taylor throws it downfield. It's complete at the 30, to the 20, running free at the 10, 5, touchdown. It's Desmond Joy, and Flower Mound is going to close within a touchdown.
Unbelievable awareness there by Noble Newton as he rolls out and he sees all the pressure on him. He had about 3 Marauders coming onto him, and then all of a sudden he sees an opening there. Throws the ball to Joy, and Joy just has uncontested touchdown once again. blowing by the Marauder backs.
So close it to 21-13 now at the 49-second mark of the third quarter. We still have a ball game. Here's the extra point attempt. And now it's a 7-point difference. Our score, Marcus 21, Flower Mound 14. You're listening to Marcus Marauders football on Champion Sports Radio.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
A 7-play, 70-yard drive culminates with that touchdown pass of 44 yards from Newton to Joy. And as we said at halftime, the Marcus pass defense has been shredded quite a bit tonight. 244 passing yards that they have given up tonight. And by comparison, they average giving up 264 a game run plus pass. So 244 through the air alone, including 2 long touchdown passes. And Marcus is in a bit of trouble here. They need some offensive momentum going on at the end of the third quarter as their lead is now down to 21-14. Here's the kickoff going to Jop at the 5-yard line. And he finds a seam up the middle, leaps over a man across the 30 to about the 34-yard line. A nice return coming in. He was averaging 14 yards per return, but that's a nice return. And actually, that time it was Hankins, not Jop. Usually Jop is back there. That was Hankins with a burst.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see the Marauders really respond right now. They're only up a score, and you need to get this ball game back to a 2-possession game as we trickle down into the third quarter, 41 seconds left before the fourth.
Nice returns tonight by the special teams. That's been one of the strengths for Marcus, and it helps their field position starting now at their own 34-yard line. On first down, Hopkins starts up the middle, steps over a man as he goes back to the left and gains to about the 37, maybe the 38-yard line. Connor Lee and friends stuffed him up right there.
We're going to see the Marauders try and keep the ball on the ground here. That's something that's been working for them. We haven't seen much through the air from the Marauders.
A 2nd down 6. And this time it's a different look. It's Albright taking a direct snap, spins out of a tackle at the 45, across midfield at the 47-yard line, and then the 45, 40, 39-yard line before he's brought down. Different play. We haven't seen that before, and that ends the third quarter. Well, I guess they'll get off one more snap because the chain stopped for just a moment, and it looks like that they are trying to go very quickly here. From the 39-yard line after that first down, Hopkins wades through some men down to the 35-yard line, and that'll end our third quarter with some Marcus momentum. They lead Flower Mound by a score of 21-14. You're listening to Champion Sports Radio coverage of Marcus Marauders football.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be 3 things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute online at gdyo.org/jazz.
Getting ready to start the fourth quarter here. Cecil Taylor and Ryan Medlin with you from Marcus Marauders Stadium on the grounds of Marcus High School in Flower Mound. It's the Mound Showdown, and it's been a good one so far. Marcus has led twice by 14-point margins, but right now it's down to 7 as we start the fourth quarter. Marauders on the move, leading 21-14. They are at the 35-yard line after the surprise play by Alex Albright that he did at the next to the end of the quarter for a 23-yard gain. Kaysen back in there, giving it to Hopkins. Can't find a hole, maybe just 1 yard, as he had the big defensive end waiting for him, Hayden Brewer. So a 3rd down 5 coming for the Marauders. And they come back to the line quickly. 2 receivers right, 1 receiver to the left. Kaysen fakes it to Hopkins. Good protection. Looking over the middle. Has a man open. Threw it behind Albright. He was open for the touchdown. And he and Kaysen simply cannot connect. So on 4th down from the 34-yard line, the Marauders look inclined to go for it. Albright's going to course over to the other side next to Michael Davis on the left side this time. Caden Smith is a tight end to the right. Look for him potentially to try to find his way out. Marcus changing the play. Hopkins is the back in the backfield. You can hear especially the Flower Mound crowd in the background trying to make noise on 4th down and 5. Kaysen has protection, throws it out. It's complete for the first down to Parrish. He's slung out of bounds at the 23-yard line by Fierro, but not before he got the first. So Parrish with the pickup down to, they're going to spot it at the 23-yard line, and a huge, huge play that time. Albright will take it on a direct snap, sweeps to the right, down to about the 20-yard line. Darnell and Fierro in on the tackle that time. So big 4th down play. Andrew Parrish able to get the first down with his first reception of the night. And now Albright takes it down to the 20-yard line. Kaysen back at quarterback on 2nd down. Hopkins off right guard. And the ball comes loose as he's hit by Brewer Hayden. And it's going to go over to Flower Mound inside the 15-yard line.
And not with the break that you want for the Marauders. I mean, unfortunately, I mentioned it about 5 minutes ago. There hadn't been a turnover yet. I may have jinxed it a little bit. As we see the Marauders give the ball up in a huge momentum swing for the Jaguars. You're only up a score here with tons of time left in this ball game. And you better believe the Jaguars are feeling pretty good about themselves right now.
For Hopkins, that is, amazingly enough, his first fumble of the season. He has carried this year a total of 137 times without fumbling the football officially. He's had a couple where it looked like he was down, but this ball goes over now to Marcus, or to Flower Mound.
And interesting, Matt Hankins was right over almost in the huddle for the Jaguars as they were planning out their offense. He was standing quite close to all of them, way offset from where his original position would be.
So from the 14-yard line, Flower Mound with just under 11 minutes to go in the ball game. They trail by 7. Under pressure is Newton. He throws the ball away as Fitzgerald and others hit him. This is going to be a grounding call. Even though there was a receiver somewhat in the area, the ball got nowhere near the line of scrimmage, and he was back in the pocket. So this is going to be a big penalty of intentional grounding and a loss of down.
I mean, lost it down, but what are you going to do? It's either that or take a safety. You had 3 guys on you. I think nobody's going to fault him for taking that penalty because you're not, giving the ball up. So, pick your poison, safety or intentional grounding. I think you take grounding every time.
Well, I think they would have given it to him at about the 2-yard line. Let's see where they're going to spot this now. It's going to walk back to about the 2, about where he would have been anyway. So now the Marcus crowd rises to its feet after that big penalty and urges on the defense. They're going to actually spot it at the 3-yard line. 1st down and long. Actually, 2nd down, sorry. 2nd down and long from that point. Newton calling signals, walking around, looking for help from the sideline as the play clock is down to 5 now. Newton going to throw from the end zone, under pressure, looking deep down the left side, and there's a collision between 2 men, and the only reason that's not a penalty is the officials have called it uncatchable. Sikora, the intended receiver, and Jop ran into him.
Yeah, Sikora was just making a beeline for the ball, and Jop just kind of got in front of him a little bit and ended up being almost run over and bringing Sikora down. That ball was nowhere near catchable, though, hence why we didn't see the yellow flag marker. Once again, the Marauder crowd standing tall and strong, trying to get their team cheered on, just get a big stop here on 3rd and 21.
Caden Smith and Trey Elliott stand on the bench and urge the crowd to cheer loudly. The band is down there too. They need to make some noise, disrupt the Flower Mound offense. From the end zone, Newton, pump fake, hit as he throws over the middle, intercepted by Gambino. He's got it at the 15, he's down inside the 10, and he's brought down at about the 6 or 7 yard line. Julian Gambino an interception for 2 weeks in a row.
And sure enough, we talk about it all the time, but I don't think we can see it enough. The way the Marauders really respond to adversity is just amazing. And they happen to do so here with a huge interception.
Yeah, that was Gambino. For a moment, the way they were congratulating Sam Morris on the sidelines, I thought I was wrong, but that was not the case. It was intercepted by Gambino, and he sets up the Marauders in great field position to try to open up that lead from 7 points.
It never ceases to amaze me how they're able to respond to a little bit of adversity, Cecil. I mean, you fumble the ball in Hopkins' first time ever this season, and then all of a sudden you find yourself with an interception, and we have 2 turnovers just like that.
And on first down, it's the give off the right side and a big scrum there. Was that Hopkins on the carry?
Now C.J. Respis. All 5'10", 5'9" of them refused to go down on that one as he took a pile of Jaguars with him to about the 2-yard line.
Down to the 2, and here's Respis lined up next to Kaysen. He'll take it again from the 2-yard line, hit in the backfield. It looks like he's going to carry the man into the end zone, though. He carries Coleman on his back. It's a touchdown for C.J. Respis. Touchdown, Marcus.
And what amazes me most is you have a team who about 2-3 minutes ago was feeling pretty down in the dumps as far as giving up a turnover and putting yourself in a situation where you're only up a score and you're giving the ball away. But then sure enough, Gambino comes up with a huge interception there. You get the ball on about the 10, and then after 2 runs, you're in the end zone. And once again, you have a 2-possession ball game with 10 minutes left to go.
C.J. Respis has his 3rd touchdown of the night. Welcome back, C.J. 7-yard touchdown run there, and we have a penalty marker down on the extra point now.
False start on the
yes.
Marauder offense, pushing them back. It'll be a NFL-style field goal now.
Mayors can hit this as Marcus tries to add to their 27-14 lead. 10:03 to go in the ball game.
You a big fan of the NFL-style field goal this season so far?
Well, you know what I like is I think they're starting to do more and more as the kick goes through. They're starting to do more and more 2-point plays, and I think that's what's great about it. So Mayors is able to kick the extra point, and Marcus goes up 28-14 in the 4th quarter. You're listening to Champion Sports Radio.
Are you looking for a way to promote your business or increase exposure? Do you just need more people to know that you're there? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games to more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. Think about it. Die-hard fans just like you tune in each and every week, giving your business unparalleled access to the community. It's the perfect way for smaller individually owned businesses to cultivate a core clientele or expand their already loyal customer base. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
So the Marauders and Jaguars trade turnovers, and now it's 28-14. Coleman takes the kickoff at his goal line, and he finds a hole up the middle, past the 30 and to about the 33-yard line. He was brought down there by one of the special teams players. I think that was Cooper Warren in on that tackle. So a nice return for Flower Mound, and they just keep getting off the canvas themselves.
Yeah, and, I think a lot will be said about this next set of downs here. Does Flower Mound, the Jaguars, do they get down on what just happened, or do they build themselves back up? Do the Marauders defense feed off of just what happened, or do they give up some big yardage through the air? I think it could go either way at this point, but you got to hope the Marauder defense is fired up after what they just saw.
Jaguars have been playing scrappily all night. I wouldn't expect them to lay down with 9:54 to go. Newton looks to throw right side as a penalty marker goes down. He does have a first down, but I think this one is coming back as the line judge has thrown a flag that will rule out the pass completion to Gorlich. Legal motion call, 5-yard walk-off against Flower Mound, and move it back to their 28-yard line.
Nice little break there for the Marauders as they finally see some penalties go in their favor here tonight. Jaguars don't have many, just 5 on the night, and you know, little things like that can really kind of get you going as a defensive unit.
So C.J. Respis scores for the 3rd time tonight after the Gambino interception makes up for the Hopkins fumble. First down 15, blitz look coming. Newton throws it complete, and he finds his intended receiver, Joy, who's caught a touchdown pass tonight. He's ridden out of bounds by Jop at the 41, near the first down, a few yards shy. So nice play that time to gain up to the 41-yard line. It'll bring about a 3rd down and 2.
Look for the Jaguars to hopefully keep the ball in the air. I mean, that's what's been working for them tonight.
Clock stops, 9:41 to go in the ball game. Flower Mound has all their timeouts, trailing by 14. Newton looking to throw right side, in trouble. He's going to scramble. He'll have the first down as Gambino and Morris team up, and he just split them and was able to get the first down across the 45 to the 46. Nifty little run by Noble Newton.
Yeah, and you got to hand it to the offensive line of Flower Mound. You know, they don't necessarily have the size, just shy of about 240 pounds averaging for them, but they're still able to power through sometimes that defensive line for the Marauders and find some room for Newton to get through.
Newton back to throw on first down. He's flushed outside, and Fitzgerald is waiting for him with the sack back at the 40-yard line.
Andrew Fitzgerald, ladies and gentlemen, did not get to play last week against Allen, and you can he shows some anger due to that, as he's kind of just been flawless tonight and really been a big impact factor for the Marauders.
He's been out of the lineup a little bit, but playing most of the game. And this young man has over 35 scholarship offers and more coming in. University of Texas offered him about 10 days ago. 2nd down, 17. Newton throwing the post over the middle. It looked like it was tipped perhaps by Morris, and then it's dropped by Sikora. It looked like everything got thrown off on the tip.
Yeah, Sam Morris able to get an arm up there right in the middle of the field, the backfield for the Marauders, and able to get a little tip on it, and that kind of just set things into motion where that ball was not going to be caught, and sending to 3rd and 10 for the Flower Mound Jaguars.
3rd down, 16. You'd expect a pass on this play. Newton tonight 16 of 28 for 257 yards and a pair of scores. Farmer comes in on him as he throws it complete near the first down, but not quite there. And now breaking free is Joy. No, that's Jackson. Jackson is hauled down inside the 25-yard line as he shook free from 2 men at the 45. That was Freddie Jackson, who already has a long touchdown pass tonight. And this gain goes down to the 24-yard line.
Yeah, Hupfer kind of bounced off him there. Coach Stanford wanting a call for something as he's laying into the official a little bit there. Hupfer bounced off him, though, and slipped right through him. Great job by the receiver there, getting the extra yards after the catch and really putting his team in a good spot.
36 yards on that one. Jackson, 3 catches, 123 yards and a touchdown tonight, and the Jaguars stay alive, converting a long 3rd down. From the 24-yard line of Marcus. Over the middle, a little route that has a completion for about 5. And right away, the tackle is applied by Zach Goff.
And the Marauder defense needs to hold strong here. You can't afford to give up points. And while you do have a 2-possession lead, to get them within 1 is a dangerous position to be in, especially in a game that's so heated in rivalry where teams will pretty much do anything to get the W.
Marcus defense just reeling now. 299 passing yards they've given up tonight. Newton chewing him up. They do sack him, but he keeps coming back. Morris hits him as he throws, and this one's picked off. Intercepted and down the boundary. It looks like Elijah Jop. No, that's Dylan Holcomb. Sorry, Dylan Holcomb up near midfield before he's run out of bounds. Holcomb was sitting back waiting for that pass, and he takes it down.
Dylan Holcomb, the bassoon player at halftime, coming up with a huge interception for the Marauders. And that right there is a multi-talented young man, as he can play the bassoon well, and he can also intercept the ball and get you some good yardage and get this team fired up once again.
2nd one tonight for the team, and a nice return that time by Holcomb out to his own 45-yard line, a return of 33 yards. So that'll end that possession and start a new one for the Marcus Marauders, as Now they have a chance to salt this game away with 7:39 to go. Handoff goes to Hopkins, and they cave in the right side of the line, and he gets across midfield to the 49-yard line before he's taken down by the defensive end, Hayden Brewer.
And one of the things we talked about going back to that interception with our other broadcast team who's with us tonight is when Noble Newton gets in trouble, he tends to make some difficult decisions that could lead to plays like that, and that's exactly what we just saw.
Second down 4. Marcus goes to the air, looking deep for Caden Smith. He's going to leap up and catch it inside the 20-yard line. The coverage was there, but Caden Smith was just too tall for the defending man, Anthony Smith, and it's a first down for Marcus.
And there's the Caden Smith that the Marauders know and love, and the crowd showing it as he comes up with that big pass. Like I said earlier, we usually see one big pass to Smith this game, and that was definitely up there. And, there may be another one in him.
Gain of 32. Looking to that side for Caden Smith on the right again. And this time Smith hits him and gets help at about the 10-yard line. Just a short gain. 2 consecutive passes on that connection to Caden Smith from Mitch Kaysen. And again, the Marauders are coming up to the line very quickly.
And we mentioned it earlier. He got named to the 2016 Under Armour High School All-American game. That is no easy feat to accomplish.
Caden Smith now 4 catches for 60 yards, and we have an illegal motion penalty coming up against the Marauders, and that'll wipe out most of that last gain.
That's going to be a false start on the Marauders, and luckily they are in good field position regardless of the penalty or not, but that does put them in a little bit more difficult situation.
Back to the 14-yard line after the 5-yard walk-off. Kaysen throwing into the end zone for Caden Smith again, and he can't hang on as he was colliding with Smith at the time. It would have been a spectacular catch had he been able to hold on.
Yeah, and Smith was all over him on that one. Caden Smith, 2 guys on him there as they saw the ball floating. The ball was a bit of a floater from Kaysen, so the defense had time to adjust and get on Smith and make the stop.
Smith, a backup cornerback, and Marcus likes that matchup. They keep going there. Now they're walking out a safety to try to double cover Caden Smith. Kaysen looking to the left side this time. Throws out to Hopkins, who drops the pass. Would have had a touchdown probably, as even though men were coming, he had a clear path to the end zone, and this is going to bring out John Mayers for a field goal attempt.
Yeah, Hopkins, he's a fast guy, and right there you saw his speed kind of get the best of him as he was taken off before the ball fully got to him. So it kind of went off of his fingertips as he reached out. His arms weren't long enough to fully bring it in. Tips off his fingertips and goes down to the ground.
I think he knew he had a touchdown there, and it's one of the things, even the best receivers, you see it even in the NFL, they get excited about seeing what's ahead and sometimes lose their concentration on catching the ball. So Mayers now 31-yard field goal, and he's dead on. Our new score, Marcus 31 and Flower Mound 14 with 6:17 to go in our ball game. You're listening to Marcus Marauders football.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShopboxDFW.com today. ShopboxDFW.com.
And welcome back. Here's the kickoff from Mayers as the Marcus Marauders lead 31-14. This ball's going to go into the end zone. It's going to stay there with a touchback. So that last drive goes 41 yards in 6 plays before stalling out and leading to a 31-yard field goal by John Mayers.
Handed to Mayers there. 31 yards doesn't seem that tough, but there's a strong wind still moving east to west, and that's definitely been a factor in the kicking tonight. So good for Mayers hitting that 31-yarder. Maybe the Steelers can pick him up and get a little help, because last night they definitely needed it as far as their field goal kicking went. I don't know if you were able to catch that one, too. Field goals within 30 yards missed for the Steelers in overtime.
Yeah, and then the former Longhorn Justin Tucker kicking the long 50-yard plus field goal for the victory. So lots of mistakes for the Steelers as they were unable to hold the lead. Marcus trying to avoid those mistakes and leading 31-14. Keep up with it. Here's a long pass to Desmond Joy. Zach Goff rides him down, but not before he's well into Marcus territory at about the 40-yard line.
And once again, we see the Marauders secondary having a lot of trouble keeping up with the Jaguars, and big passes like that. Expect a lot of those to come. There's 6 minutes left. I don't think they started the clock on that last play. I think it was 6:09 when they started out.
Right. They're just now running it.
I don't think they started it. It's going now after they've moved the chains.
So from the 39-yard line in Marcus territory, Newton back to throw, under pressure, throws it, and it's incomplete, high for Tillotson. Coverage that time by Ridge Rogers, who has joined the secondary. Second and 10. And
it's not like the secondary's played awful today. They've made a lot of good stops, but opposite of those have been a lot of big yardage gains by the Jaguars. It's kind of up in the air on what you're going to see per play.
335 yards passing tonight. For perspective, last week, Allen rushed for 389 but passed for 207 with 3 interceptions. Noble Newton now 335 but with 2 picks. So second down and 10 from the 39 of Marcus. He's under pressure, hit just as he throws, and it goes through the hands of Freddie Jackson. Pressure that time coming from B.J. Copeland.
A quick update for our MLB fans. Unfortunately, I don't know if the Texas Rangers are going to do it tonight. They're down 2-1 to the Angels in the bottom of the 9th. Astros leading the Diamondbacks 6-0 in the bottom of the 3rd.
Wow. So the game is still on, just like it is here with 5:46 to go, and the clock stopped. 17-point lead, but Flower Mound trying to move down the field quickly. Newton back to throw. Under some pressure, throws it out, and a nice play by Jop to help break up the pass intended over there for Freddie Jackson.
And just so if anybody's curious of how fast Jop is, Jop was about 40 yards deep in the backfield, more over on the right side, and was able to move quickly to the sideline on the left to get that stop there.
After the 36-yard completion to Joy, it's been 3 straight incompletions, and now it's 4th and 10 for Flower Mound at the Marauders' 39-yard line. 3 wide receivers to the left side. Let's see if they bring the blitz against Noble Newton on this play. Eric Kennison is in the lineup along with Blake Watson. So it's the backup linebackers replacing Gambino and Morris on this play. They're looking over the middle, and here comes a pass, and it's dropped. Right through the hands of Hayden Hauser. You have to feel for that young man as he can't hang on to the football, and the ball goes over to the Marcus Marauders.
You got to feel for him, definitely, but you also got to feel for the Marauder defense. I mean, you gave up that giant pass, and things look like a little shady there for this drive, but then you come up with 3 incomplete passes with good coverage from your secondary, and sure enough, you get the ball back.
So with 5:35 to go in the ball game, Marcus just will look to run out the clock here, leading 31-14. C.J. Respis in the backfield now. Respis, 14 carries, 78 yards. Caden Smith joins the lineup late and comes in at tight end. Not sure why he thought that he wasn't going to be in there, but he blocks well and creates a hole for Respis, who gets a first down up near midfield. So how about that? You just stick on your helmet as you're going and come out and open up a big hole for your buddy.
And I'm interested to see the pace here that the Marauders decide to take. It looks like they're moving pretty quickly. I don't think they're trying to run out any clock here. I think they want to put another touchdown in and really stick it to the Jaguars.
Just shy of the first down at the 48-yard line. Second down 1, and Respis now will have his first down at about midfield, running behind the right side of the line. And the clock stops momentarily while they move the chains with 5:03 to go. Well, they're not passing. They're just creating a lot of yards.
And I got to say, it's great to see Respis out there doing what he does best. You know, it's been a tough couple weeks for him, but he's come back strong and had a great night.
Now they're going to pass. Kaysen looking wide open. It's Albright. This time they connect. They couldn't do it a couple of possessions ago. This time he catches it inside the 25, knocked off his feet at the 24. First down, Marcus.
Ben Fierro, the cornerback, was right there waiting for him, though. As soon as he caught that ball, he gets knocked down quickly, not getting any extra yards after the catch.
Nice catch by Albright, though. 4 catches, 58 yards now. Respis Goes off the left side, and he's hit by Darnell and somehow spins to get the first down after help from Randall, the other linebacker in the vicinity. So no gain for Respis on that play. And second down coming.
Marcus, I think they're trying to get another score on the board before this game's over. I think they really want to send a message. I mean, they're not by any means taking their time. They're keeping the ball on the ground, but they're not running out the clock like you'd think they would be at this point.
Well, it's a rivalry game, and Flower Mound has been very resilient, so why not get another score? Kaysen can't find a receiver right. Now runs to the left, and he'll just slide down after a gain of about a yard. Nice play by Mitch. He did look right, couldn't find Michael Davis. Looked left, Smith was covered, and he just ran for a yard.
Third down and 10. If Marcus can get a conversion here, I think that would be really huge. And I think you had a good shot of running down the rest of that clock.
So 3:40 to go in the ball game, and the clock rolls on third down. Again, as Ryan was pointing out, Marcus is not trying to run the clock down, run the play clock down, and drain it. They're going, but this time they're going to go ahead and call timeout, and we'll take a timeout with them. With our score 31-14 Marcus, you're listening to Champion Sports Radio.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
And we're back for the third down 9 play. Caden Smith goes in motion as the Marauders operate from the Flower Mound 23-yard line, and it's a motion penalty against Marcus, 5-yard walk-off to bring about a third down and 14. And this would actually probably push the Marauders out of field goal range if they cannot gain a few yards. The longest this season for Mayers has been a 38-yarder. If they gain no yards, he would be trying to kick from 45. I'm not sure they would even attempt that. Hopkins rejoins the lineup now on 3rd and 14. He's next to Respis. They're both going to block to give Kaysen time. Throwing to Smith, double coverage up in the end zone, and it glances off his fingertips as 3 men were going up for the ball, and Caden Smith just couldn't time it right. So it's 4th down for the Marauders. And it looks like it is going to be an attempt here by John Mayers, as the throw by Kaysen leaves him 11 of 21 tonight for 155 yards. This is going to be a long field goal attempt. The snapper is Jeremy Hood. Albright is the holder. Let's see what he can do to tack on to this 17-point advantage. And the kick is almost blocked. It's long enough, and it's good. And John Mayers, the sophomore, has made his mark on this rivalry with his longest field goal of the season. Let's hear the fight song. So nice job by John Mayers, a 45-yard field goal, and it brings the score now to 34-14. That drive went 7 plays, 33 yards before a penalty and an incompletion stopped things up. And now it's a 20-point lead for Marcus. Flower Mound needs 3 touchdowns to be able to catch the Marauders. 3:13 to go in the ball game. Want to remind you to stick around for our post-game show, as we'll hear from Coach Jerry Stanford, review the highlights of the game, and look around at scores from around the area. What else going on in District 6A? So here's the kickoff from Mayers. It's a nice kick way into the end zone, and they're not going to run this one out. So bring it back out to the 25-yard line after the long kickoff by John Mayers. So again, 34-14, C.J. Respis has scored 3 touchdowns tonight. John Mayers has kicked a couple of field goals. The Marcus defense is still standing after being absolutely shredded at times by the long passing game of Noble Newton and the Flower Mound Jaguars. But they're still standing, and they will have to do it one more time. From the 25-yard line, here come the Flower Mound Jaguars. And the handoff is going to go to the running back. And that is Uzowihe, who maybe makes about 4 yards up to the 29-yard line. So only his second carry of the night, as they don't throw the ball much, run the ball much. He's only carried about 25 times this season, and Uzowihe goes again, and he goes around the right side, and he has a first down up at about the 45-yard line. And that's where he's dragged down by, looked like Kovacevic is in there now on defense. And Kovacevic, who is a fine player on special teams, makes the tackle, but not before Flower Mound has a first down at their own 46-yard line. Clock stops with 2:40 to go as it was an out-of-bounds play. 34-14 Marcus. Again, we'll check some of the other games going on tonight. An upset going on at Clark Stadium in Plano that we'll tell you about during the postgame show. Here's a pass incomplete off to the right side. A new man in there, Luke Cohen, for the first time tonight, is unable to hang on to the pass from, and this is a different quarterback now, Zach Welch, as Noble Newton has taken a seat after a fine evening, but just not able to generate enough scores. 19 of 36, 335 yards. Wow. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, though. One of them pretty costly as Gambino set up a short touchdown drive. Second down 10. Flower Mound at their own 46. There's a Wehe, comes around the left side. He benefits from a holding call as he breaks into the into the clear. Watson dives at the 20, can't catch him. He goes all the way from the score, but this ball is coming back, and the celebration will be muted. Nice run that time by Uzowihe, but it is a holding call right on the edge that helps spring him. Not too many penalties tonight for Flower Mound, but there's a costly one as they're now at 6 for 46 tonight. And 22 players all come back from the end zone back into the Flower Mound, into the field. So 2:20 to go in the ball game. It'll still be a second down. Looks like the walk-off will go back to about the 35-yard line. 36. They're going to spot it at the 36. After that long run by Uzowihe, he's going to get a break, and Klitterbaugh comes in. We haven't talked much about him tonight. Young man usually plays both ways, and he has offers from the military academy, from Robert Morris, and from San Diego State, rated as a 2-star by Rivals. 2-star recruit. And we have another penalty as we get going here. And let's see, they almost, actually, they wind up calling it a timeout. Even though a flag was thrown, the play clock was about to run out, and Coach Dane Johnson was able to get the timeout just beforehand. We want to thank Steve and Barb Hill of Point of Origin Design, your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com and let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com. championssportsradio.com. We're back to play now after the timeout, leaving Flower Mound with 2 in their pocket. From the 36-yard line, Welch is going to zip it out, complete up to midfield, and it's complete to Matthew Fellis. So lots of subs in for both sides right now after the nice pass up to, they're going to call it right at midfield. It'll be 3rd down and about 6. Line to gain is the 44-yard line. Try to call out some of the names as we can of who has joined the lineup for Marcus here in just a moment. Welch is going to roll out to the left side. There's men in pursuit, including Jared I, and Welch is going to run out of bounds and be thrown down. No flag coming, luckily, on Eli McKay, who was over there. Let's see, some of the other men I see in there include Chris Gorman and Peter Sandoval up on the line, joined there by Caleb Murley. So it's a loss of 1 that time for Welch, and they will go for it on 4th down, of course. Some of the other men joining the lineup, Blake Tim is one of the linebackers, and next to him is Colin Capel. McKay is a safety. High snap this time. Welch will give it to Kletterball. He's going to go around the right side, and he's going to be near the 1st down, but he's not going to get there, as it looked like McKay was one of those who came up from the secondary to make the stop. First man there actually was Bryce Haney, who was able to help run him out of bounds. So at the 47-yard line of Marcus, it's 3 yards short, and the ball goes over. So Marcus has 1:29 to roll off here. Let's see what they choose to do, if they're just going to run it out, if they're going to bring in the subs, and in fact they do, as a lot of guys are getting playing time in this rivalry today. 34-14. Gage is a tailback next to Mike Henry with his 2nd appearance of the season in a quarterback. He's going to give it to Alex Gage. No, he's going to keep it. He's going to keep it and gain a 1st down around the left side to about the 41-yard line in Flower Mound territory. Deceptive run that time by Henry for a nice gainer. Down to the 41, gain of 12 yards, and a 1st down for the Marcus Marauders. Clock rolls with 1:10 to go. Henry, after that, ran all the way to the sideline from the far side to get the play, and he's bringing it back into the huddle now. Another man I haven't seen before, Blake Fuller, is in there at a wide receiver position. And also lining up at a receiver is Trey Kelly. And this time Henry is going to take a knee back at the 46-yard line. So they're going to call things off at this point. 40 seconds to go. Marauders only need to snap it one more time. Have to give a lot of credit to the Flower Mound Jaguars. The scoreboard showing 34-14 doesn't really reflect how well they played tonight, what fits they gave the Marauders, and it was only a late turnover and a touchdown and a couple of late field goals here in the 4th quarter that changed the flow of things, as they had come to within 7 points at 21-14. So nice job by the Jaguars under Dane Johnson. They have the lower levels going. They, in fact, beat Marcus last night in all the lower level games. But Marcus wins the varsity game as the clock rolls down. 3, 2, 1. And that's our ball game. Our final, 34-14 Marcus. And the Marcus Marauders go to 5-1 on the season, 3-1 in district play. And a nice outing tonight, fending off a tough rival in the Mound Showdown here at Marauders Stadium. So stick around for the In Command Broadcasting postgame show. Ryan Medlin will be back with conversation with Coach Jerry Stanford after this one. We'll look at scores from around the area, statistics, and have highlights. Had a lot of first half highlights, even more in the second half. You'll want to hear them as you listen to our In Command Broadcasting postgame show. You're listening to Champion Sports Radio.
Broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management. The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be 3 things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute, online at gdyo.org/jazz.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShotboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
Back at Marauders Stadium as we wind down from the Mound Showdown. And we're glad you joined us for the In Command Broadcasting postgame show. And let's take a look at some of the scores from around the area. And let's start with District 6-6A and a big upset tonight at Plano's John Clark Stadium as Plano loses a second district game by a score of 14-7 to Plano West. So the West Wolves, who have had really a rough time, are able to knock off Plano 14-7. It was Allen finally breaking free from Louisville for good late second quarter and into the second half. They scored all the points in the second half to win 52-7 over Louisville. And Plano East goes down to McKinney Boyd. They led early 15-7 at the half, but in the second half, Boyd outscores East 27-8 and pulls away for a 34-23 victory at Ron Poe Stadium in McKinney. Next week, by the way, the Marauders will be facing Plano West coming off that big victory over Plano. In District 5-6A, last night, it was a victory by Keller Fossil Ridge, 28-21 over Timber Creek of Keller. Tonight, 2 more Keller schools going after it. Keller 17-14 over Keller Central. Now, this is District 5-6A action. The reason we like to bring this up is because in a situation of the playoffs, should Marcus make it, they would face a team from 5-6A. Denton Ryan, number 8 in the area, looking strong tonight. shooting down Trophy Club Byron Nelson by a score of 20-3, and Denton Geyer all over Justin Northwest by a score of 48-3. A couple other big games tonight, and the fourth quarter still going on. Coppell leading Southlake Carroll 24-21, and that's in District 7 6A. In District 9 6A, Jesuit has upset Skyline by a score of 24-21. So that's a look at some of the games from around the area, and we'll come back in just a moment. We'll look at some of the stats before we get to the highlights and also get to the conversation with Coach Jerry Stanford. You're listening to the In Command Broadcasting postgame show on Champion Sports Radio.
In Command Broadcasting, a sports TV broadcasting and marketing company. In Command Broadcasting provides a wide array of turnkey video production and streaming services. In Command services include filming of sporting events, season highlights, school graduations, corporate infomercials, and documentaries. In Command streams your sporting event or company function over the internet live or on demand. Call 972-851-7888 to raise the energy of your next event. In Command Broadcasting, 972-851-7888.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management. The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
Point of Origin Design is your one-stop shop for all your apparel, promotional, event, or team uniform needs. Point of Origin Design is a full-service design and logo creation company that offers a wide variety of imprintable and embroidered products. With competitive pricing and quality work, you can't go wrong with Point of Origin Design. It's always best to start at the right point, so visit them online at pointoforigindesign.com. Let them help you plan your next promotional item or design your next t-shirt. That's online at pointoforigindesign.com.
Writer Gerald Early said that when they study our civilization 2,000 years from now, there will only be 3 things that Americans will be known for: the Constitution, baseball, and jazz music. GDYO's Jazz Institute provides young musicians in North Texas the opportunity to learn what it means to be a jazz musician through weekly technique classes and combo rehearsals with professional jazz musicians. From the first note to the final round of applause, GDYO Jazz Institute concerts will amaze and delight both hardcore jazz cats and new fans alike. Learn more about the truly original American art form through the GDYO Jazz Institute online at gdyo.org/jazz.
Many heart conditions can be fixed, but many of us don't know we have a problem until it's too late. On April 2nd, 2009, Zachary Schraw, a 16-year-old sophomore offensive lineman, died of sudden cardiac arrest, the #1 cause of death among student athletes. Like so many SCA victims, Zach had no heart issues, nor did anyone in his family. If Zach had an echocardiogram, he might have been able to avoid suffering a condition that takes 10,000 of our youth each year. In his memory, Living for Zachary was formed to try and prevent SCA from taking the lives of youth everywhere. Join in the fight today and stop the silent killer of SCA by scheduling your young athlete for an echocardiogram, a procedure that can detect any heart issue with 99% accuracy. For more information, visit www.livingforzachary.org. That's living4zachary.org, and let your heart be heard.
And welcome back to Marauders Stadium, which has a lot of people roaming around the field and enjoying the Mound Showdown result of 34-14 Marcus over Flower Mound. And let's take a listen to the highlights now from the game. We're going to go all the way back to the first half. And the first score was set up by a 38-yard punt return by Alex Albright after the first punt of the night, the first possession by Flower Mound, and it was capped off that drive of 6 plays, 26 yards by C.J. Respis, running it in from 5 yards out for the first of his 3 touchdown runs tonight, and that made it 7-0 with about 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. A couple of possessions later, a nice punt return by Desmond Joy of 36 yards set up Flower Mound in good shape, but they wound up that possession missing a field goal, and that turned it around for Marcus to go 7 plays, 76 yards, and cap it off with this touchdown run by Nate Hopkins.
He sails into the end zone after a tackle. It's a touchdown for Marcus.
Let's try that again.
Seventh play of the drive coming now. Handoff to Hopkins off left guard behind Elliott. He's into the clear. The 30, the 20. They're in pursuit at the 10. To the 5. He sails into the end zone after a tackle. It's a touchdown for Marcus, and they are up 13-0. Right up.
And with that, it was 14-0 after the extra point. A couple of possessions later, Flower Mound started a nice possession at their own 34-yard line and drove down into Marcus territory, decided here early second quarter with about 9.5 minutes to go till halftime that they should go for it on a fourth down from the 35-yard line, but the Marcus defense this time was up to the task.
Flower Mound has a fourth down and 1. They started this drive back at their own 34-yard line after a Marcus punt, trying to eat into that 14-point Marcus advantage. Here's Newton, the only man back there. He's going to drop to throw, being pressured. He gets away from Taylor, throws it, and it's knocked down by Goff. Knocked down by Goff. Joy, the intended receiver, right at the first down marker.
And so the ball went over to Marcus, but after a 3 and out, they had to punt the ball away, and it was a quick strike drive. 3 plays, 70 yards, actually a 74-yard touchdown pass by Newton, throwing it to Jackson in order to close the gap to 14-7.
3:47 to go till halftime. 14-0 Marcus here at the Mound Showdown at Marauders Stadium. It's a third down 14. Newton to throw. Under pressure, but they give him clean pocket. Has a man running free, and he catches it. It's Jackson at the 40. Nobody around him. 30, 20, 10, touchdown. Flower Mound on the board.
And they cut the deficit to 14-7. But as we saw all night long, just as Flower Mound would make a move, Marcus would respond. Albright took the ensuing kickoff 60 yards to set up a 30-yard 4-play drive that was highlighted by this touchdown run, second of the night for C.J. Respis.
And it looks like they're going to go for it as Mitch Casey gets back with C.J. Respis to his left.
And they're going to go quickly again. Respis gets a hole off left side, bursts into the secondary, to the 10, to the 5, touchdown. C.J. Respis for the second time tonight.
And that made it 21-7, and that's how the score was at halftime. Most of the third quarter was pretty quiet as far as scoring was concerned, with short drives and a lot of punts. But towards the end of the quarter, with less than a minute to go, it was Flower Mound striking to once again pull within a touchdown.
The safeties for the Marauders not playing conservative. They're up pretty far, right next to the linebackers.
Look for a run here from Newton. He's going to start to the right side, keep it himself, and he's hit, and away.
Sorry, here we go.
Crowd cranks up the noise on third down 8. Marauders trying to make a stand at their own 44-yard line, leading 21-7. Noble Newton looks right this time, and coming in, he gets away from a man. Hawkins Taylor throws it downfield. It's complete at the 30, to the 20, running free at the 10, 5, touchdown. It's Desmond Joy, and Flower Mound is going to close within a touchdown.
And that made it 21-14 as we entered the fourth quarter. The Marauders had a nice drive that started at their own 34-yard line and got deep into Flower Mound territory inside the 20-yard line, but then some disaster struck for Marcus as they tried to add to their 21-14 lead.
Caden Smith is a tight end to the right. Look for him potentially to try to find his way out. Marcus changing the play. Hopkins is the back of the backfield. You can hear especially the Flower Mound crowd in the background trying to make noise on fourth down and 5. Kaysen has protection, throws it out. It's complete for the first down to Parrish. He's slung out of bounds at the 23-yard line by Fierro, but not before he got the first.
Well, actually, so Parrish got that first down, and then shortly thereafter, it was this play that went badly for Nate Hopkins.
Albright will take it on a direct snap, sweeps to the right, down to about the 20-yard line.
Okay, sorry. We apparently don't have the Hopkins highlights, so we'll move on from that. After Hopkins fumbled at the Flower Mound 14-yard line, it was a big play by the defense, Gambino getting the ball back for his mates.
The band is down there, too. They need to make some noise, disrupt the Flower Mound offense. From the end zone, Newton, pump fake, hit as he throws over the middle, intercepted by Gambino. He's got it at the 15. He's down inside the 10, and he's brought down at about the 6 or 7 yard line. Julian Gambino, an interception for 2 weeks in a row.
And that led to this touchdown run by C.J. Respis to break it to a 2-touchdown lead.
Under the 2, and here's Respis lined up next to Kaysen. He'll take it again from the 2-yard line, hit in the backfield. It looks like he's going to carry the man into the end zone, though. He carries Coleman on his back. It's a touchdown for C.J. Respis. Touchdown, Marcus.
Third touchdown of the night for C.J. Respis from 2 yards away, and that made it 28-14 at that point. On the next possession, there was a bit of movement at that time, a 49-yard drive, but it ended as Holcomb was able to stop the drive of Flower Mound.
Newton chewing him up. They do sack him, but he keeps coming back. Morris hits him as he throws, and this one's picked off. Intercepted and down the boundary. It looks like Elijah Job. No, that's Dylan Holcomb. Sorry, Dylan Holcomb up near midfield before he's run out of bounds. Holcomb was sitting back waiting for that pass.
And so that stopped the Flower Mound possession. It led to a Mayors field goal. One possession later, Marcus was able to drive once again down into Flower Mound territory close enough for Mayors to get his second field goal of the night and add to the 31-14 lead.
Field goal attempt. The snapper is Jeremy Hood. Albright is the holder. Let's see what he can do to tack on to this 17-point advantage. And the kick is almost blocked. It's long enough, and it's good. And John Mayors, the sophomore, has made his mark on this rivalry with his longest field goal of the season.
And that was the last score of the night to take it to 34-14. So lots of activity tonight, and as you could tell, there was a lot of comeback activity on the part of the Flower Mound Jaguars that they kept getting off the mat, but every time they made a good move, Marcus would counter with a big play, with a long kick return, with perhaps an interception or a fourth down stop. So let's hear what Coach Jerry Stanford had to say about it as he talked with our Ryan Medlin.
Head coach, the Marcus Marauders, head coach Jerry Stanford. Coach, big win tonight over a crosstown rival. The record for the Jaguars, 1-4, didn't really show it tonight out there on the field, did it?
No, both teams I think came in with some high emotions. We were coming off a big game last week, and they're coming into a deal where they played their best game, I felt like. Coach Johnson always does a great job. He's always got his kids ready to play. And anytime you come away with a 20-point victory, you got to feel good. And so we feel good about being where we are in this district right now. We've got 4 big weeks straight ahead of us right here. This is the 4 biggest weeks of the year right here, and we've got to get ready to go. Just proud of these kids and their effort and continuing to fight. Made plays when we had to and just kept plugging along, and just proud of the way they have been playing all year long.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Thanks.
So that's Coach Jerry Stanford, obviously happy with the way his team played, but of course, like a coach does, pointing them forward, saying we got 4 more weeks of the season with that 5-1 mark to try to achieve their goal of making the playoffs. So let's take a break now, and we'll come back in our In Command Broadcasting postgame show and review the final statistics and look ahead to next week as we cap off this one. 34-14, Marcus defeats Flower Mound in the Mound Showdown. You're listening to Champion Sports Radio.
Stay up on all the latest news about the teams you care about and know when your favorite games are on the air thanks to Champion Sports Radio social media. Either follow @Champion Sports on Twitter or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and you will know what time your game starts, who was named Player of the Week, or what your school's alumni are doing in college. That's on Twitter @Champion Sports and facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio. Your home for championship social media.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Daly from LoneStarGridiron.com, the authority on Texas high school football. Quick question, did you play Texas high school football? If you did, it doesn't matter what school, it doesn't matter what year, we want to honor you at Lone Star Gridiron. Go over to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood and sign up. It's absolutely free, and we can honor you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert.
The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
Okay, let's come on back to the postgame show. Have some music that doesn't want to work for us, I guess. So those things happen. So let's look at some of the stats from this game. Marcus on offense, 215 rushing yards, 155 passing for a total of 370. That's right about their average as a total for the year. Usually they average a little less rushing, a little more passing, but 370 is close to their average of 365, which ranks 5th in the district. One of the things tonight to point out about the Marcus game was 138 total return yards. Great job there. 8 penalties, though, for 65 yards had an impact. Flower Mound, 11 first downs. A lot of big plays. They only had 7 yards rushing, but shredded the Marcus pass defense for 349 yards for a total of 356 for the night. So if you look at it, both teams had just about the same number of total yards, but 2 turnovers by Flower Mound and one fumble lost by Marcus, and that made a difference in the game as well. I think a lot of big 4th down plays as well. Total return yards, 140 yards for Flower Mound, so they had a good night returning the football as well. 6 penalties for 46 yards. Let's look at the player stats for tonight. For Flower Mound, let's start there. As Newton went 19 of 36 passing for 335 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. He rushed 16 times for -6, and I thought that was one of the keys tonight was they made Flower Mound one-dimensional. Yes, they passed for a lot of yards, Ryan, but Newton really never got untracked running the football.
Yeah, and that's where Newton's most dangerous is when he's running and passing. So I think being able to eliminate the running portion of it really helped you out tonight. I think the secondary, while they did give up a lot of yards in the air, they made a lot of key stops too as well. So while you didn't have the most perfect game in secondary-wise, I think you did enough to get the job done tonight despite the amount of yards that shows on the stats.
Uzawihe was the leading rusher with 17 yards, but 2 men went over 120 yards in receptions for Flower Mound. Jackson, 3 for 123, and Joy 4 for 120. Each caught a touchdown pass. Socorro had the most receptions, 5 for 42. Gorlich, 24 yards, and Uzawihe had 19 yards on receptions as well. On the other side of the ledger for Marcus, Hopkins crossed the 100-yard mark once again with 17 for 102. I need to look this up. I believe he has only had one game in which he didn't rush for 100 yards. C.J. Respis came back with a strong game, 17 for 89 for 3 touchdowns. Hopkins had a touchdown, so 4 rushing touchdowns on the ground. Albright rushed twice for 26. Caden Smith got untracked for 4 receptions for 68 yards. Albright 4 for 58. Davis had 2 receptions for 18 as he becomes a bigger part of the offense each week. Parrish 1 for 11. Kaysen threw to them 21 times, completing 155 passing yards. No passing touchdowns tonight for Mitch Kaysen. So that's a look at the statistics, and as we wrap this one up, let's turn to the players of the game. And Ryan, we want to recognize both of the key players who have missed some time. They both played well tonight coming back, and one of them is our player of the game.
Yeah, one of them we're going to give it. It was close. We discussed it during the break here, but we're going to have to give it to C.J. Respis as he, really kind of, we saw him a little bit last week in Allen, but he didn't really get that many reps and didn't seem like he was in a groove. We saw full-on C.J. Respis tonight, the one we saw early on in the season, and he had a great game, 3 touchdowns, and really able to be a big factor for the Marauders. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, a guy we didn't see at all last week, Andrew Fitzgerald, came out tonight guns blazing. First couple plays of the game, you saw him make a huge presence and show that he's back and he's ready to go. And, coach said he could have played last week, but he decided to rest him, and I think that was a good decision as Fitzgerald, also a huge impact player tonight.
A lot of players on defense you can mention. Of course, Holcomb with an interception, Gambino with an interception for the second week in a row. A lot of good effort all the way around, but certainly a team victory. Mayers would be one that you would have to think about because of his field goal kicking, but we give it to C.J. Respis as our player of the game. So next week, the upset-minded Plano West Wolves will host Flower Mound Marcus at Clark Stadium in Plano, and West coming in off that 14-7 upset of Plano. Marcus, of course, with this victory tonight, pushing its record to 5-1. That one could be a tough game because Plano West is a scrappy bunch just like the Jaguars.
Yeah, and it's their homecoming night as well, so expect them to bring a big crowd into John Clark Stadium and expect that one to be rowdy. But you know what? The Marcus Marauders been through pretty much every test they can so far this season, and I think this is another one for them, and I think they're going to handle themselves well.
Again, here at Marauder Stadium, our final Marcus 34 and Flower Mound 14. And thanks to everybody who's been a part of this one. To Ryan Medlin, our color commentator for tonight. Thomas Lee with a lot of technical help. And a shout out to Gene Taylor. Happy birthday. I'm Cecil Taylor. Thanks for joining us. And you've been listening to Marcus Marauders Football on Champion Sports Radio. Join us next week for Marcus at Plano West.